letters in Warsh this morning. NFP, that's right, we get non-farm payrolls and unemployment data out here at 8:30 a.m. and that's certainly going to, or at least has a potential to change how this market's going to be moving today. Here's the S&P 500 right now, actually poised to open a little bit higher after falling earlier in yesterday's session, then consolidating more or less for the rest of the day. NASDAQ here, rather poised to actually doing the opposite of the SPY here. We had the opposite action more or less yesterday. We're also poised to open a little bit lower this morning on the QQQ. We'll talk about some weakness potentially in this side of the world, specifically in tech, in just a minute. Keep an eye as well on the DIA Dow, looking like we're right now poised to open a little bit higher, so closer to the SPY action than what we were seeing here with the NASDAQ. Again, non-farm payrolls at 8:30 a.m. 80,000 is the forecast, 57,000 is the prior. We're also going to be getting unemployment rate, 4.2% forecast, 4.2% for the prior print. Tons of earnings yet again, guys, in focus. We've got TTD, by far the biggest mover that I saw, at least to the downside. The biggest mover to the upside that I saw this morning is TEAM, Atlassian. I was talking to Neil off camera. There's a lot of these names that reported last night. Not all of them are going to be giving you some volume, but you've got, again, TEAM, TTD, and some of the ones that reported this morning as well, like Vistra and Oklo, which are giving us a little bit more volume to work with. But the earnings really run the gamut in terms of sectors. Again, with the NFP in focus, sounds like we're going to have another earnings and economic data heavy day. Good morning, Sharif. Happy Friday.
Yeah, likewise as well, Adara. Let's talk about net here. Really pumping up pretty aggressively, 16%. Lifting a lot of the cybersecurity names with it as well, a lot in sympathy. And then we're also getting a bump here in solar as President Trump doubling down on some of the tariffs and the solar panels coming in from China. You have FSLR up 5.25. SK Hynix looking at making a big investment. Meta's getting clipped with some more jury verdicts with respect to some of the child addiction for social media. Airbnb reporting, they're up almost 7%. Lyft flat reporting as well. DKNG down 1.8% on the back of a tougher report. And then NextEra Energy, watch out for that one. Possibly a moratorium on the acquisition there of another energy company by NextEra. And then MCHP as well, up almost 7%. The sort of high nanometer sort of microchip company reporting earnings as well. And then Roku and Fox both reporting earnings, and that acquisition is interesting as well. And then TWLO here, man, 16.8% here in the pre-market, gapping up pretty aggressively.
Yeah, it's interesting. Some of these gap ups too, like with the likes of Twilio, big moves, but not a ton of volume. So always be careful. Other ticker here with the letters TWO in it, TTWO of GTA 6 fame. They also reported this morning here, Take Two, and again, not a ton of volume on this move, but just something to be aware of. There's going to be a lot to be aware of in terms of trading opportunities today, which is why we've got Sean and Neil here to take you through what they're looking at. Good morning to both of you and happy Friday.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. And
I was wondering why we were here, so
well,
I'm glad now we're here to help take people through all of this.
If you traded Doximity, you probably are going home already. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, it was back and forth in the pre-market, eh?
That's like already a Christmas tree. You don't usually see $30 up and $30 down on a $36 name that was $20 at the close yesterday. But that's the reality we live in. I actually think this is part and parcel due to, like, it's pretty low pre-market volumes. So, like, things are a little thin and spready. So something started going, like, just had like a full-blown squeeze already. And a reminder, there's still a chance day two for Hertz, which is still making some moves. They had earnings and they kind of had a bump to the upside. We're a day removed from SpaceX. It's actually flat right now, the expiration there. But there's a lot of big names that have moved, like, that are gapped. Like AOI is up 11% here. So there's a big name. There's a solid name that's made a bit of a move. It's got potential breakout lined up, but it's not overwhelming volume. So I do think you want to remember, hey, we had SK Hynix report, so the memory names are going to be in play. You already know SpaceX is going to be a bit of a mover. Like gold has been breaking out, and gold and silver gap, they're going to be in play as well. So you want to make sure you're following the volume, because the headlines have a lot of things that look like good catalysts, but don't have a lot of volume for them. You want something exciting, like the end of the Argos game last night. Yeah,
it was a good one. Yeah, we had a great time at the game. Then they won, which was really nice. Or yeah, I just see there. Yeah, it was 33-30 or something. And it was anyway. Yeah, it was one of those. Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah, it was a good time. It rained on the way there, but once we were there, it was perfectly fine. Yeah, no, just looking at the today's big day for jobs, right? So non-farms payroll. So we're gonna have to wait to see. I was actually scrolling through our watch list here to give you guys an idea of what's going on. I actually have to pop it out to show it to you. We have a new watch list here, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, most people commenting they like it. I mean, some are taking a minute to adjust to it all, but there it is right here. Non-farm payrolls coming. This is what we're looking at. It's going to be a very busy look in just a matter of moments now. We're 20 minutes away still, but non-farm payrolls there between 83 to 97. They're always adjusting, right? So we'll have to wait to see where this one comes out for and what kind of relationship this will have to today's market moves. We've seen, it go up, down, around, and at the end of the day, it seems to always come back to where we were pre-market. But yeah, we're going to look at the non-farms and unemployment rate coming out. Expected 4.2, prior 4.2. The jobs is a little bit of a range, they're 83 to 97. So, in this rate environment where we are uncertain of what that next rate hike, or I guess I was going to say or cut, but it's definitely not going to be a cut. Looks like moving forward here. It's going to be affected by today's number. Oh, wow. Now we're at 50-50. Like just yesterday, yesterday was okay. It was 2 days ago, last week, we were at 33% chance that we stayed put. That's up to 45% now, right? So it was 1/3, 2/3. Now you're basically going to be, and we'll see what happens after today, but 50-50 on the rate cut, on the rate hike coming for September. So that's going to be interesting. So we'll have a look at that. And that's what everyone's waiting for, right? I mean, the actual number itself doesn't necessarily matter. It's just the reaction that the market has to it based on what they think is going to happen a month from now, right? I don't know. I was looking at DraftKings. The market just did something kind of, I don't know, it was on the way down as if this was going to be a normal kind of a Friday slide there. And then all of a sudden, whoops, made that move right back there to the upside in DraftKings. We have it written down as down 3.5%, but it's battled back a little bit here. Now down 1% and trying to get going. They did not have a great quarter there. A name that Michael Burry, I think, is in, right, on the long side of these things.
Not as bad as Flutter, at least.
But yeah, right into there. So good levels now for DraftKings. Like I was saying, now that report is gone, this could be a name that I'm looking at. The trade desk is an absolute
That's just a
hot dumpster fire.
Is there a worse stock? There's obviously, look, there's stocks that
not as
that die and get delisted.
This one's was well owned.
Yeah, but exactly for a name that people probably have owned, or at least some. I can't think of anything that's worse. And
I can't even let this chart slow down.
Kick a horse when it's down, but you have to go so far back.
$40 at the beginning of the year. It's $12 right now. So.
If you pull up a monthly chart to find the next level of support at $10, and you're just going so far back that it almost becomes irrelevant to look for a technical bottom on it. 28%.
Yeah.
And the revenue, it's not like they missed by, the revenue miss was, and the guidance was he's huge. Let me just quickly, I want to double check it. I felt like it was a 20-something% miss on the revenue guidance. Yeah, it was estimate was 805 mil, and it was 650. That's over a 20% miss on the revenue guide on a stock that is already destroyed. It's just, it's ugly, it's sad. It sucks, but you know what? That's the thing, stocks can be shorted too. And
yeah, for sure.
Obviously, the shorts have been doing very, very, obscenely well, absurdly well with this one for sure. Team PJCT, crypto's not necessarily ripping, but it's up. I wouldn't define this as ripping, but it is gapped up. I would give actually more credit today to gold. GLD is up 1.5 points, and if you look at gold on a daily chart, ooh, look at that. There's a breakout of a consolidation level, and it's gapping up. Gold and silver actually both look very strong. We had Raheem on yesterday. He was talking about that. I don't know we'll see what Michael wants to talk about. It could be, I wonder if I have two guesses. One of them, the easy guess would be post, what do stocks do post lockup? Because that's low hanging fruit. But my second guess would be something maybe with like metals, what are lagging things that are starting to go, and to continue the trend. I don't know. He just sent us notes, but I don't know.
We had Raheem yesterday, and it was that was part of it, right? Is that he was talking all about that gold trade, and that's starting to pick up a little bit. So
Copper too.
yeah, well, that's the first thing I written down here was gold and IBIT. So yeah, right into here, gold up another, I think it was 2% last time I looked there today. Let's see, oh yeah, 1.6%. So up to 397, starting to get going oops, that's the wrong chart. Gold starting to get going off these lows. I mean, look at this base. I mean, this is incredible. And there's the break again. Like sometimes it's just that easy. You just got to be looking in the right spot. It only happened a couple days ago, so let's wait to see if this move is real. We talked about it yesterday that it was down. What was it, down 20% or something? You know, from the highs. Well, if we go right down to let's just go down to the very lows there and see what it was. Yeah, 27%, basically high to low there on GLD. The high becoming, you know, end of January into, I mean, you could have picked anywhere. Let's call it down 20% or so now that it's back upside. And even if you take, you know, the move from today up another 2% there, you're still are going to be down, 22%. So still a good little rebound opportunity in gold. We'll see what it does at the 200 period moving average. But again, it all ties together, right? I mean, the jobs report coming. We have the interest rate excitement. We have the longer end of the curve starting to get a little bit more exciting, as we saw after Warsh's last statement there. Bonds started going. The TLT started going again as well. You know, we didn't even check back in on the TLT here. This is the 20-year Treasury. It had itself a move. Yeah, so here we go. Like now, this is starting to go down, right? As rates go higher, the price of the underlying goes lower there to sort of counteract it. So this could be at a good buy spot as well, but maybe looking like the trend here to the downside, meaning higher rates, so are to come. And we already know that. Yeah. So are people stepping into gold because of that reason? I mean, I haven't looked at silver too much.
Are the bond markets volatility on steroids potentially? Maybe that's the thing.
What is that leading towards? Is there a stock?
Nah, it's just a Barry Bonds joke.
Oh, Barry Bonds.
No.
Oh, for bonds. For bonds. Yeah, that was a good one.
I had to. Whatever,
that was
man.
good. Bonds. Yeah, I get it.
And you know what? I actually think you should put the steroid guys in the Hall of Fame. I could care less. Just put that junk on there. Put that crap on the plaque and say.
I mean, everybody would know it.
This is what he did. And we did nothing to stop it, and he hit a bunch of bombs. And everyone made a lot of money off of it, and it was a lot of fun for people to watch. I actually am looking at silver. The thing I didn't like about it was the gap. Actually, that's not true. The thing that I like the fact that it's gapping up. That's a good sign. What it didn't give is like the whole patented pullback into prior high, because like you look at this prior support, which was so good, and this is SLV, I know, so obviously I'm not talking about spot silver prices, it'll be different numbers. It's about 56.7, and we're pretty far removed from that. Like that's halfway through this gap that we have. Or like to get back into here, I think you almost look like halfway. That would be one play, or just allow it to hold low and try to look at VWAP. But I want to be long, but if it's going to pull back, you got to be willing to sort of weather that storm that could come back in. But I feel if you're looking bullish today, that is one place that makes a ton of sense. There are some small cappers. I was telling Sharif, there was the Chinese runner of the day, and I hate to try, like, what is ZCMD? Zong Chao Inc. Let's see how that. Oh, it's back under VWAP. It's already dead.
Okay.
So that one's already dead. I feel like, but you can't discount this one. I don't know if this is your cup of tea, Sharif, because this is a like Hertz is a post-earnings legitimate rally after it's a real catalyst, right? Like having a solid quarter is an actual catalyst. I don't care how bad the stock is. And now it's day 2 with a 70% short float on Hertz. I don't know why this is coding like it's red on this daily chart. But anyways, 27% to the upside after gapping up again. Huge move. It held that $2 in the afternoon. So this one, it doesn't necessarily have the, look, it's not a 1 million float Chinese ADR or whatever, but it's still.
Well, then forget about it.
It's still one of the ones that's going, Sharif.
I like the fact that it's holding structure, Neil. So you can see 250, clearly a resistance area on the chart over here. Very, very clear area, basically from the drop at 4 a.m. You couldn't clear 250. That is, of course, until about 7:30 this morning. And then lo and behold, all of a sudden, for the last about 45 minutes, we've been holding 250 as support. So that's the kind of thing that I look for. Is it respecting structure? Is it predictable? And this one, so far, so good. But you're still below, technically, the pre-market high at around 280. You're working into that 260 area. I also want to mention, not DOCS, but SLGB. So this one did break out into that $1 area. It's pulling back a little bit now into about 83. The good news is VWAP's around 80. It's a different trade north and south of $1, but you can sometimes build a position south of the dollar, especially at a key area of technical support like VWAP or the 10 EMA, or if there's another price action area of resistance area that's acting as support until you're decisively clear that dollar. This one didn't. I think it got into about 104 or 105 a dare.
Now let's talk here about NET, a name that is not a small cap and is actually poised to gain market cap this morning if we open where we're currently trading. This was a strong quarter for NET, and they raised guidance for fiscal year. There's not much to dislike with this NET report here.
Yeah, it's pretty good, Adara. Q2 results, $696 million in revenue. That's up 36% year over year. 29 pennies EPS, beating the 27 expected by analysts. And shares were up 17%. Who can complain about that? Some interesting parts of the report here. CEO Matthew Prince, he kind of revealed that over 50% of the network traffic now, at least on his network, is agentic. So we're talking more about this internet, being replaced by humans and more by agents. Well, the data is starting to support it, not fully, but interesting observation from him. Also, he was able to retain clients a lot better than he was able to last year. 120% net retention jump. It was driven by rapid enterprise expansion as well as developer adoption on their worker platform. Good look there. And then he has an aggressive guide here. They're $58 million full year guidance bump with $2.867 billion as the midpoint. So not a bad look, and a lot of current remaining performance obligations, which surged also about 35%.
Nothing but net here for NET?
Ooh, yeah,
that's a pretty good one.
That's
Swish.
a good one. That works. Because how many stocks? Like is there anything in broad AI stocks? I don't even want to narrow it down. And show me one that even with the last pullbacks that we've had in the space, where it just held higher lows and even has condensed and accelerated and has broken out. There wasn't really even a drawdown here for them. Like the pullback was muted, I think, relative to the rest of the market, and the breakout has been spectacular. Like this was up, breaking highs, and like one of the things I was saying yesterday is like, oh man, that 300 fail, someone getting wary of it, because like the day before you're reporting, you're failing a high break, which sometimes can be a little bit, make the stock a little bit skittish. No, they blew it out the water, and now it's clean, surging, and it's into a new area. I mean, the downside I would say is Cloudflare. There's just literally no volume on this stock. It's on 41,000 shares. And that's probably good relative volume for it because it doesn't normally trade a lot. So for a day trade, there's just not likely to be anything there. Usually, when you have an obvious support like a 325 and it's gapped up this far, you want to wait out the open on something that was liquid to see if it holds the initial support, the profit taking in the opening range. And then if that happens, you look for a bounce at that point because it's already gapped up so far. But there's just not a lot of volume to like. But it is one of the best looking charts you'll find. Like the things that drew back the least, to have this much explosion still when they take out the highs. Yeah, good one with Cloudflare. Just don't really see enough volume to really trade it. But we do see, what do you got? What's on the plate?
Chicken samosas.
I guessed wrong.
No. You might have guessed right because it might.
You think it'll still be bacon?
I still think it'll be eggs. Oh, the bacon.
I wanted bacon.
Yeah.
I was guessing we get some bacon.
Is it what is the protein? Is it scrambled? No, scrambled eggs. What do you mean chicken?
There's no eggs?
No.
No bacon?
No.
So it's just samosas for breakfast?
You're looking at it.
No, there's something else.
We're having some hard times around here, so you guys start trading more shares, everybody. We need to start to get a little bit more.
That's cap.
There it is. Yeah.
There's never only just samosas.
No,
He's messing with us.
I think he might be messing with us here, but we'll see. Maybe he is not. Yeah, no. The mode around these guys, they handle 20% of web data right now. So 20% is web traffic. Cloudflare, right? That gives them a good insight into cybersecurity and the needs of all their clients. So they can see They also have this AI, the crawl control I was just reading about. So, able to handle some of those bots that are going out there as well for Cloudflare. They're in, many startups are using these guys. They have some freemium tiers you can get involved in. The AI Edge, as we were just talking about there's just different businesses I don't even really understand that they're involved in here. Trust platforms, SaaS platforms. Zscaler is a big one, competing directly with Zscaler and PanW. Their VPNs. Everything is just they're kind of, as Neil mentioned, like an all-in-one autonomy, AI, web. It's just working, and I don't try to act like I know enough about it. This break right there of 280 really started everything going, right? And so that happened a couple of days ago, and then you get a good number. So here we go. With only 10 minutes left, it's hard to write down a little bit of a watch list. I mean, watch list is no problem, but exact levels and everything, we're now 9 minutes away from the non-farms payroll. So that's going to be a big change here today. But yeah, Cloudflare today, just what a great stock. And whenever there's a gap, we say play to VWAP, but right now it's been doing nothing in the pre-market. So VWAP just hangs around there. So if we do drop down, we're not going to get to 305. I mean, I think it was too good of a number, but that would be the spot here between 305 and 310 for myself to start to look at a little bit of a bid. So, all right, I'm sure these chicken samosas are great, but there may be more in the back. We'll have to find out. We have Joe right now off of some CPU issues yesterday. We're ready to rock and roll today with the upgrade. Oh no, today's the options to start off with. So let's go find out which options are looking spicy here heading into a Friday.
All right, guys, let's take a look at some of the options activity from yesterday's session. Guys, we have a bunch of contracts that are going to be expiring today, so let's keep an eye out for some of these key levels. First on the list, we have the S&P 500 SPY here. Guys, we're going to be looking at this $770 level to see if we have the ability to break through or we reject it. There is some open interest, a lot of volume as there typically is, over 12 million contracts through all strikes yesterday. So let's take a look at this $770 marker, 10,000 contracts there, guys, and then 84,300 open and closed at that specific level on yesterday's session. Now, as for the NASDAQ here, the triple Qs, guys, it's $720. Another level we're going to be keeping our eyes out just due to gamma exposure, but open interest sitting at 15,400 contracts, 57,000 open and closed on yesterday's session. Once again, these are both going to be expiring at the end of the day. Now, as for NVDA, guys, $220. We did have the ability to climb north of that yesterday, but there is some more gamma exposure south of this, but this is what I wanted to find that was slightly at the money, out of the money. Now, here's open interest, 55,000 contracts, all right, guys, but a substantial 223,000 contracts opened and closed on yesterday's session. Once again, we'll keep an eye out for this 220 marker and how the underlying reacts around this level, all right? Moving forward, let's take a look at some of the put activity. SanDisk, some of the other memory names selling off after their earnings report. Now, can we hold up? Don't forget, this is a relatively expensive underlying asset, guys, expiring on Friday. $1,200 we're going to be keeping an eye on. I understand that we're north of this, but volume, 6,200 contracts and open interest sitting at 2,000 flat. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. And then as for Google, $350 is where I'm going to be looking just in case we decide to sell a little bit here for a potential floor and a rebound. We grabbed some Google at $350 a couple of weeks ago. Let's see if we're going to have the opportunity to do the exact same thing again. Volume, 16,000 contracts open and closed on yesterday's session with still 5,210 outstanding. Let's keep an eye out with some of these levels, guys.
Thanks, Joe. Speaking of levels, with 7 minutes to go till that, 6 minutes to go till that NFP number. Alphabet, it's got a pretty, I want to say, like, obvious bottom because it held the low from the C-suite shakeup on Wednesday just under 357, and then that was the low again there. So it kind of gives you a nice little over-under level. Okay, well, depending on what happens in 5 minutes, if you bounce from there, then you've got yourself a support level. If we hold underneath 357 going into the open, or off the open, then you've got a short level with a bit of a gap to fill. So that's something where at least you have a key price that you can likely key off of. Just you don't really know what the direction it's going to go. We don't know what's going to happen with NFP. That's an intriguing one. And then that 350 gives you a bit of a next support level for Alphabet. Good stock. It's also the 50-period moving average on the daily. I think at, I'll double check. That's actually above, so 353-ish. So it'll get to the 50 on the daily before it gets to that 350 support. So there's a couple places, I suppose, that you could look. But for a level like that, I'd be looking after NFP to see whether it's holding on. It's one thing to look at, as Sean was saying, like you can have like the levels that are a little further away, stock's gapping up and it's doing its own thing. Like those you can sort of throw in there. But if the stock is just cresting right on the precipice of a support level or resistance level, you do want to see that number come through.
Yeah, and I was gonna say the same thing about the Qs there. Obviously it's a good look looking at the NASDAQ. I mean, this is the one index that is not at all-time highs right now. And it's moments away from it. I mean, we just talked, it's funny because that individual that gave us that super chat a couple days ago that asked about 725, I mean, that seems to have been, we did pop over it for one day into 728. And of course the super chat was weeks out, but you know, that might be a level. You know, you might have a level here of around 730 on the triple Qs. Now let's wait. We're now 4 minutes away from this number. I don't think I don't know if we spike up 2% to get up to that level, but this is a good little short area if it does spike into here. So we'll have to wait for the NASDAQ, now moments away. We should have Michael, as we mentioned here, coming through at some point after that. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting one. And what the numbers, of course, we just talked about it. What we were looking for on this, I tweeted them out as well, of course, but the numbers for non-farm payrolls just coming out right here. We're looking for 83 to 97K. I want to thank Adara for obviously helping out with all the watch lists and everything like that. Unemployment rate there coming 4.42. This is all on our watch list that you guys got in your email. And then we'll look for, I don't know, average hourly earnings, things like that, whatever. And then 11 o'clock consumer inflation, 1 o'clock Baker Hughes consumer credit. But it's right into here, man, the non-farm payrolls number. That's going to be coming out right now. And then we'll wait to see if there are any revisions to that prior number of 57,000 as well. And then the market is not decisive this morning. I mean, huge move down. I'm going to say huge. Huge is relative just into what we've seen on the chart, though. Nice move to the downside there. Bottomed out, then ripped back up, tried to go, made a new, or came into the new highs again, made a new move back in, bounced off those levels. So I'm thinking this is a long right now, trying to break through these highs. You know, looks now lower, higher lows over the last 30 minutes, you know, trying to break the highs. So we'll have to wait to see. I can't predict what this job number is going to be, but I do think this looking like it wants to break highs. So look for a short there if we get around that 725 into 730 for the T triple Qs. All right, Adara, we can throw it back to you a little early here. There's still 2.5 minutes to go before the jobs number, but you know, we're aware that there's going to be also, like I said, you know, revisions to the number, and we'll wait. We'll have this number live for you right now. Make sure you do hit the like, the subscribe. Everybody that's here with us today on YouTube, on Twitch, on TikTok, wherever you're watching us live, give it a like. I think it's the little hearts you got to hit, or the thumbs up. I don't know what it is on TikTok, but go nuts. Hit it all.
How about this? Amare from TikTok, you tell us what to do.
Yeah,
you know what's up,
there.
Amare. We got Mr. Designs up in there as well.
Good.
So
yeah,
you guys,
let's go.
Danger, Carlene.
Designs.
You guys let us know what to do up there in TikTok. But we'll get back up to the desk.
Yes, here we go.
For sure. Well, one place you could look for some forecasts, I don't know, I guess you could look at Kalshi. I don't know. I've never really had too much of a look at them for economic data. We usually have fun with the Fed or other things, but it'd be interesting to look back and sort of say, and they just give like little ranges and then give the percentages on the ranges, so it's a little bit more difficult to decipher. But
above 60,000.
So if you look at like what's like really low probability, there's nothing. Yeah, so I mean, 100,000 would be crazy, I suppose, because less than a quarter are thinking that. But you can make all these markets. Obviously, it's looking to be positive. 92%.
Above zero.
Yeah.
See, that should be a free 8% there.
That's one of those things. Like it makes me wonder because like that should be free, but then why is it there? What's the liquidity like? We're gonna find out. Let's go up to Adara. 1 minute to go.
Speaking of Kalshi, I was seeing on Polymarket, apparently they're now thinking that there's a pretty good chance we're actually not going to get the Clarity Act passed at any time in 2026. But now, with about 40 seconds to go until we get this employment data, let's break down once again what we are expecting. Non-farm payrolls, 80,000 forecast. Prior print, 57K. Unemployment rate, 4.2% forecast, 4.2% prior print. Average earnings year over year, 3.5% forecast. Prior print of 3.5%. Sharif, any thoughts on what this number could be with 20 seconds to go?
No, just low, higher, low, fire. Let's see how this moves.
Yeah, let's see how this ends up shaking out. Again, guys, just 15 seconds till we get all of this employment data. Just a reminder here of what else to expect. It looks like we've got Fed Barkin at 10 a.m. and then President Trump speaking at a mining event at 3. So more housekeeping. 3, 2, 1 until we get this non-farm payroll print. I'm seeing numbers populate. Let's see what we end up getting here for non-farm payroll. Average, okay, non-farm payroll is negative 23K. That's going to be below the forecast of 80K and the prior print of 57K. Again, guys, negative U.S. non-farm payrolls print. Unemployment, a little bit lower than expected, though, 4.1% versus 4.2%. And average earnings, 3.2% below that 3.5% expected. So again, well below estimates for non-farm payrolls, below estimates for average earnings, and actually a little bit better here than expected for unemployment, 4.1% versus 4.2% expected. We get a spike here in the NASDAQ. Sharif, I don't think this number is what the market was expecting.
Yeah, I don't think so either, Adair, but we got higher prints last time. So it's like if you look at it on an aggregate and balance it out, you know, some come higher, some come lower. As you say, the unemployment rate dropped. I just feel like we're in a bit of a stagnant environment, as I said before the number. Low, higher, low, fire. Seems to like there's some balance.
Yeah, a little bit of balance here. In the meantime, I think we're ready to go. If the guys are cool with it, we bring in Mr. Michael Noss over here from Stats Edge. Pretty crazy number there, Michael. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. I'm watching. We're going to talk about gold today, and I'm watching gold ripping here. So I'll take that any day.
Yeah, very exciting here. I'm just going to put this number up on the screen so our audience can see that print here when it comes to NFPs. We're going to talk here, as you mentioned, gold. I'm going to pull up the slide here for you. The gold clocks. I'm guessing maybe some seasonality at play here. What can you tell us about your view on gold?
Yeah, so gold is interesting here, and I thought I would follow up on this one in particular, not just because we're in it, but because I mentioned it on Monday when I was here. So this first chart I have was actually what I brought to you guys on Monday, and just kind of mentioned that offhandedly. I think that there was some seasonality coming up that was interesting, and the monthly chart was down like 4 or 5 months in a row. So that first chart, you know, people might look at that and say, well, why are you going to buy that just like this? If it's down so much, it looks like it's pulling back off of an amazing rally. The next chart I just have shows kind of more of the trigger, where we bought in around 371 or so, give or take, at the beginning of the month on this next chart, which is just a weekly chart there, and just shows the momentum. So I wanted to kind of start with that just to show that, yes, the seasonality is cool and the seasonality is important, and we'll talk about that. But just like anything, I think you want to do the seasonality combined with some sort of price action, right? It doesn't matter if it's supposed to be an up month or if it's a seasonally strong period for whatever market you're looking at. If the price is just going down over and over again, you probably want to step back and avoid it. But if you can line those two things up and say, hey, you know, there's a nice trend here or a nice breakout and we're seasonally strong, might be time to pull the trigger. So what seasonality am I talking about? Well, in the next chart, we just talk about how there is a pretty green buying window. This is just each block here is a month, and the green months are months that are unusually high for gold. And you know, the next chart I think actually explains this a little bit better, where we see these seasonal windows that happen in gold, and they start around August and they go to September and sometimes end around February, that time. And you know, I say I've got festival and wedding season and New Year buying. We'll explain that a little more. The next chart is just a bar chart, and it shows on average the return of gold. You know, most of the time gold kind of drifts slowly higher. This is dated from 2005 to 2025, which is, I did that because that's when GLD, the ETF, exists. I went back even further with the gold futures contract, and this pattern still holds true. You can see that, you know, the wings of the month. So August all the way till February, those are really strong. And then in the middle of the year, we get some sort of choppy action and pullback in gold, which is interesting. If you think of May, June, those were both down. July was down as well, kind of flat, right? That was that monthly chart that I gave you. So it seems to be following this pattern. So I hope it continues to follow this pattern for next year. So next chart, what are the seasonal things that we're talking about? Well, in August, September, there's a big jewelry restock that generally happens where people want to buy gold and they want to restock their inventories because that October, November, we have the Indian festival. So Diwali, I think I pronounced that right. I apologize if I didn't. But, wedding season, gift giving season, there's a lot of gold that kind of changes hands that way. And then November, December, we have the Western holidays. We have Christmas, obviously. So the people give jewelry as a gift. So this restocking is generally a way to front run that. January, February, you have Chinese New Year's. And that's what caused the seasonality. It doesn't mean it goes up every single year. That's why we're combining it a little bit with price action. So the next chart is just kind of a little bit of a trade breakdown here and just talks about how first we start with the window, which is gold through this favorable season. However, we wait for that confirmation, which I'm going to show you in the next chart, kind of what we actually looked for, which we want some push higher than we hold through the window. No real risk control on this one, no stop loss or trailing stop or anything cheeky like that, because it's gold, right? I'm not worried about waking up and gold is at zero tomorrow. We're only taking a small part of our portfolio on this anyway. So if we do have a down season in gold, that's going to be okay, right? This is kind of to pad out some stats, which I'll talk about just a second here. So next chart is kind of what we just sent off to traders. If someone wants to take a screenshot of this, I'm not going to go through it all, but just a nice little breakdown saying, this is the gold chart as we saw it. This is the entry, exit, stop loss, all of that, the reasons behind it. And then next we get into the important bit, which I think is the statistics. Now, if I just showed you this next slide, which is just the statistics behind the trade, you'd say, wow, right? 77% win rate, average winner is 15%, average loser 6%. That's amazing. That's, all I'm going to do is buy gold with my whole account every time this happens and live an amazing life. But I wouldn't be honest if I just gave you these headline numbers. That's why we're going to go to the last chart here, which is the equity curve. And the equity curve just shows more or less what it would actually be like. So yes, all of those statistics I quoted are true. When this thing fires off, it's got roughly 77% win rate with a 15% average winner and a 6% average loser. But you got to remember that's like once a year you're taking a trade. So if you look at kind of 2022 all the way to say 2023 or 2012, to 2023, you're talking a 10 to an 11 year period where there's just very eking up of an equity curve. There's not really much going on. And if you look at all the flat periods here on the chart, those are periods where the seasonality did not line up with the price action. So there's no trade there. So this is, I think, the importance of what I like to do and what we look for as statisticians is lots of small edges like this. Because if you were just trading this and you kind of hung your hat on this particular strategy, you got like an 11-year period where you're not making any money. And then you've got multi-year periods where you're just doing nothing. But this is the power of taking a small edge like this and then stacking it with other small edges every time you can find that opportunity. If they're uncorrelated in nature, it smooths out this equity return. So, in 2024, if you ended up doing this and in 2025 you did it, they were great trades. But you had to sit through a whole lot of kind of nonsense. So a little bit of a lesson in just looking at the headline numbers isn't necessarily the way to do it. Look at the equity curve. I know that there's going to be a lot of periods of time where, there's going to be no gain or a little bit of gain because those don't line up very well. But I'm hoping, especially with the chart, I like the chart as well, that we get a pretty good gold season. So just to kind of summarize, we're buying gold here because we're getting this nice confirmation on a seasonally strong period of time, and we're going to ride it until February and see what happens.
I like that look. And yeah, the seasonality aspect makes a lot of sense. I do have one question. So I know you've referred to silver as gold's crazy cousin. Silver also, of course, in that metal space. So I'm wondering, have you found, and I mean, this may be potentially a whole other research project, but would you say that there's a similar seasonal cycle, if not exactly the same, with silver as what we're seeing here with gold in terms of gifts, holidays, etc., or is it just more prominent here with gold?
Yeah, spot on. It does move very close with gold. The reason I chose gold as opposed to silver on this one is if you line up the statistics, the drawdowns that you have to experience in silver is so much more. When gold cracked its kind of parabolic uptrend it had there, it pulled back a bit, right? It wasn't a huge amount. It wasn't a super dramatic pullback. When silver did that, it got cut well in half. And if I'm going to hold something and that's just going to be a seasonal style trade of just buy it and set it and forget it, that extra risk for extra return for me is not worth it. I could see a case of someone saying, well, I'm just going to take less of the percentage of my account in that. But because it's silver's crazy cousin, I'm fairly certain I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and gold's going to be cut in half. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw that with silver, just the way the thing moves.
Yeah, a great look there. Thank you very much to Michael Noss over at Stats Edge for all of this information. Again, you can find him on the show every Monday and Friday around 8:30 a.m. Great information, Michael.
Thanks very much. See you Monday.
See you Monday.
All right, fantastic stuff as always by Mr. Michael Noss. Moving forward. All right, guys, let's take a look at some of the analyst actions here this morning. We're going to kick things off as we typically do with some downgrades. At the top of our list, the trade desk getting its price target reduced to $16. That is down from $28, but we're still holding a buy rating, guys. We're down substantially here this morning after the report. 26.5%. UBS lowering its price target, all right? The trade desk faced continued macro pressure and a weaker Q2 outlook. When you lower the guidance, guys, Street is going to make you pay. The company improved sales execution, product updates, and growing momentum as well, too, cites the firm. Now, Paramount's guidance also to the downside here, guys, about 0.1%. We're getting our price target cut once again to $10. That's going to be down from $14. Morgan Stanley giving them the downgrade, still holding that overweight rating. Now, within this name, we know the Warner Brothers Discovery deal is still the dominant factor in the narrative of this specific name. Standalone Paramount reported better Q2 results and raised full year 26 guidance and synergy target. Moving forward, let's take a look at some more positive things here, guys. Airbnb getting the nod. Outperform rating, you're up almost 7% this morning. And we're also going to get our price target increase to $190. That's up from $170. Now, Airbnb delivered a strong Q2 and accelerated growth with resilient travel demands. The company cites AI-powered products in the tune of AI and pricing tools supporting further estimate upsides. And finally on our list, we have Datadog holding on to positivity here, guys. $285 price target. That's up from $275. Scotiabank giving them the nod. Outperform rating here. Fundamentally sound Q2 results and guidance is what's really weighing on this name specifically. Scotia also states with the stock down, expectations are reset, but the risk to reward profile is leaning to the upside considering the stock got hit. Let's see if Datadog can find its way to recovery. Let's send it back to Neil and Sean.
With all these data plays and everything, Twilio, nice move upside there, Cloudflare. And by the way, like we showed that Kalshi there, and it was, we just had, and Neil mentioned it yesterday because he was talking about how Kevin O'Leary a couple days ago was talking about how accurate these prediction markets are. That just would have gave you 88% right there.
I think it was like
12,
90. I think it was 90.
Was it? I thought it was like 12% chance that it was going to come negative or something like that.
It was 92.
And
either way.
I remember I was like, oh, that seems like a free 8% when it was greater than 0 or whatever that was. And so there you go. You just lost 92% of your money if you took, you lost 100% of it, but yeah, those.
But you only stood to win 8. It's crazy.
How that number even comes out negative there. We were just looking at the interest rates, still relatively unchanged, looking for those movements. But we'll check the Fed rate.
That's going to update.
Yeah, coming up very, very soon. But I was looking at the chat, and one thing we always see is we have the right reads, we have the right setups, but often traders are complaining about the wrong share size, myself included. Here's the truth. You've got the skills. Your account is just too small. Trade Funder has changed that. $100,000 for stocks, $25,000 for options right now today. And guess what? This is an incredible payout. You keep 80% of every dollar you make paid out every Friday. Hey, that's today. Never risk your own money. $99 to start. It's fully refunded on your first qualifying payout. You can start in just an hour. There's no evaluation. There's no background checks. It's just you, and this is always awkward, and the size you've been missing. Scan the code on your screen. It's tradefunder.com. Choose stocks or options. Often you'll get different prop firms or whatever that will limit you to what you're able to trade and whatnot, but and a long sign-up process. Go find out from Trade Funder what they're all about and get paid on a Friday. It's always nice to get paid every single Friday.
Shout out to
Ooh,
DJ
we've never seen
Vinny. That's a cool
that
one. There we go.
there. Yeah, look, I wrote down gold on, but it's too bad because
It's gone now.
we'd already talked about it. IBIT, gold, like these were names that. There's the Qs, by the way, but here's gold. Like I was writing down this 200 period moving average between 391 and 392 here on the list. So it's on the sticky note at those levels. But then I had to adjust it as I was writing it, maybe a pullback into 395. Like we broke out yesterday, as Michael mentioned, he talked about it on Monday. The breakout seemed to have happened on gold this week, regardless of when it was. There's a 380 break. So I thought yesterday's up candle there, or 2 days ago, was part of the break. But yeah, down there into 370. Sometimes trades look too easy, like, you know, with this interest rate environment, you know, with the market at all-time highs, with gold being down 25%, with this base, it just looks great for that break. And it is too easy today with that jobs number. I was hoping that the number would come out relatively as expected, and we could. Like, look what gold was doing. It was starting to get back to the downside there, and then pop goes the weasel all the way through 401 right now is the top. So we'll have to wait to see if 401 winds up holding for GLD. But look, if you're looking at gold, silver, you're looking in the right spot today. IBIT also, you got silver up, so I'll leave that for a second. But IBIT also to the upside. So again, another name that we had written down, looked like it was coming back into 36.50, yesterday's closing prices, and your 200 period moving average. So we'll still trade these names, but we got to just move our expected dip buy zones a little higher there today. And I
like
was
a dollar higher in some
and even
cases.
and even the Qs, like I was like, oh, you know, it might get to that 725-ish area. Yeah, how about that? I mean, it's just a straight move. And the good thing about this move, and I don't want to jinx it, which I'm probably doing, is we haven't had that pullback yet, you know? So normally the market will start to fade out a little bit after something like that. And now we're 17 minutes in, and you're still seeing upside and no pullback whatsoever. So TQ is going to be looked at today for sure. We will be going back to the futures and trading some of that today, whether or not it's gold futures, whether or not you're looking at oil. What is oil doing on this number? I don't think oil cares too much about employment rates, but yeah, it's pretty much still a downside there. It's nice to see oil finally. I filled up last night the Atlas there. It was 152.9, something like that. So that was really good. I felt like I hadn't seen a print near 140 in a while.
Speaking of prints,
yeah,
I knew there had to be one. There had to be one small cap Chinese company that was still going. There's been one every single day. So I know the first one we pulled up, that was dud. Looks like Nami, whatever. Jinshin Technology Holding Company, ADR, because that's what they all are. Now this one, does it have a story? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I don't see one, so probably not. There could be. They did regain compliance last month, because that seems like it's always the case. Anyways, above VWAP actually breaking out on volume. Just keep in mind some of the ones from yesterday, like once they lost the bid, it was game over, and they would just start trending down underneath the volume weighted average price. But the NAMI, certainly one to watch. We already went over gold and silver, so you have to move your dip buy targets. Like maybe it's VWAP. A lot of times that's a first look. Excuse me, pre-market lows if you're not going to fill in the gap. Because you want to be planning, if you like a long, you want to be planning for both directions, obviously. And that's, a lot of times, if the number had come the other way, we might have dipped into some of those good levels. Instead, we just have to try not to chase too much on this move, because I hate chasing tops on an 830 number.
Yeah.
Good luck on Nami. Just try not to get rugged.
Yesterday, I was trying not to get rugged, and we didn't. It's funny because I didn't actually post out I didn't post out this trade all the way to completion, but we got involved in this wing yip yesterday off of this bid level, came back in, halted. We got involved in that second move there to the upside, got 16s out at 20. Our best outs were 20, so that was $4, and then it's too bad that I sent a screen cap to Sharif, so maybe there's more outs there, but there it was right there, and so that was the top, and so we just traded it like we trade everything, man. There was the bid. there was a level that we thought we liked on that. Once it halted at that level, we said, okay, let's go. We got out on the first move higher. Then we got out there at 1850. Then we got out on the next open up, and we only had 10% left that we got out for flat on the way back down. So this turned out to be one of the top stocks yesterday, and I only traded it one time right there. So definitely on the watch out, and thanks for everybody in the chat. Everyone was really excited that we got involved in that name yesterday. But yeah, as Neil said there, or Sharif, and they was discussing, these moves don't have to last for a long time. And now today you're down 41% on this name. So, I really liked the way that I traded it yesterday, and that just because it made sense. It went to the upside. You take the profits that are there. And then I tried to hold a little bit of a runner, and I did hold that 10%, and we talked about it all the way back in, and then it just kind of fell apart there into the close yesterday. So
just so people can see what it looks like when it immediately reverses, this was one of the Chinese ones yesterday.
Yeah.
Like the volume lasted from when it went, how many bars is that? I don't know, like 4 or 5, so 15 or 20 minutes. And then after that, it just died. And when it lost fuel up, it just trended down for almost the entirety of the session. And most of these Chinese ADRs, small caps, have been doing that at some point to you. A few of them are going to last a little bit longer than others, but the end game seems to always be the same. So just be very, very careful. I just saw another stock. The market's going through the highs. Guess what's not? I love me a good Frosty. I love the Frosty. I mean, it's a great, Wendy's is delicious, but relative weakness, this one just tagged the lows. There's a lot of people we keep seeing, Wendy's is the next squeeze stock and this and that. I don't know where it comes from, but it's not happening today. $7. Well, you guys, anybody looking at a daily chart can see the support at $7, $6.96. Yeah, so when the market's relatively strong, here's one that's under some pressure, potential flat bottom break.
Yeah,
Hey, they got the Baconator too.
we like the flat bottom break.
I like the Baconator.
We don't have any Baconators around here though these days. We got we only got the minced chicken samosa.
Sharif's not happy with that because he's like, there's no protein in the chicken samosa.
Yeah, we saw that one there. Well, there is protein.
I mean,
there's just
it's chicken.
it's
So.
chicken, yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, here's another one there brought to you by Bovin. I've heard of that guy before.
Who?
Apparently we go Boom Bovin, we do Get It Bovins, and we do we do Case. We got Case.
Yes.
Is Case in the chat? Right there. Shout out to my guy Sharif in the back.
I haven't seen Case.
All right, so here we go. Big Tree. We didn't see Case yet. Big Tree Cloud Holdings. Right there. So 49 short float of 49,000. Just showing 4% short float right now, but the float itself is only 1 million shares. So here you go. Big Tree Cloud Holding today. Upside on. I guess this is just the note is about docs. So a cloud name coming through, right? We just saw Cloudflare and any which is symbol net starting to go up to the upside. So DSY right here. Thank you, Bovin there. 8 million shares today. I guess the Bovin count's going higher the more I say it here today.
The OG.
5, yeah, the OG Bovin. That's another one there. Good one, Neil. $5 right there to the downside right now. You guys. Take what off? What happened, Joe? What does it say? Oh, yeah, well, look, what's wrong with that? You could be a stripper and be gay. You could be a gay stripper. Well, come on, Joe. What's the problem with that, my guy? If it said straight stripper, we'd be fine with it. I mean, come on. All right, so straight to the... Joe getting a little red in the face over there. Okay.
Just a little.
Okay, Joe. I mean...
Joe has never been that red.
This is what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm trying to be to each their own. You guys slept on GDXU.
We spent a lot of time talking about gold, but
yeah,
I guess but this is like a 2x for GDX.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, gold miners. Hey, gold goes up, the miners go up. Some people say there's sometimes a little bit more upside, occasionally with the miners, but with 2x leverage, there's nothing wrong with it. I would say, like, if you're going to be playing 2x levered or 3x or whatever those ETFs are, remember they are short-term trading vehicles. They're not meant for longer-term play. So when, like Michael was talking about buying gold and holding it till February, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you wouldn't hold GDXU till February. That would be absolutely insane. But these are good. They are good. You just want to make sure a couple of things. You want to make sure there's enough volume. That's the important thing. And that the underlying, you don't want it to have so much volatility that it could blow up that leverage ETF, right? Like what happened with the Lucid one. So those are the two things. So GDXU probably doesn't have that. Liquidity looks solid to me. It's done 600,000.
Yeah, it's a pretty common.
Yeah, GDX is
thing.
probably fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, we like gold. We like gold, silver, and Bitcoin today. So that does fall right into it. And thanks for the gift on TikTok.
Ha 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 ha, says CR 1 cent. Yeah, thanks everybody for being here with us on a Friday. No better spot to start your Friday than with us right here. So, all right, yeah, let's go, man. Bitcoin's still going higher, gold's still going higher, everything mooning right now. The NASDAQ was relatively calm. Remember I was saying that it looked like, and it did like, hard to predict, but right when it was down here, we were talking about it bouncing off VWAP, making highs, and I was saying that our lows were getting higher, and then boom goes the dynamite there. But to have predicted that kind of like we already showed you the Kalshi number, right? It was like under 10% or something for a negative number or in and around there. So 90% thought the other way today, and there it goes upside. And when someone's thinking one way and the other way happens, this is generally the spike in the market, or any stock, anything you're talking about can always, sort of show up. So we'll see if there's a turnaround spot. We had talked about the Qs in and around that 725 area. So that's getting awfully close right now to potential area where we could see some supply come in. So 725 to 726 on the NASDAQ as a top look there. And then we can just quickly, we'll throw it back. We only have a couple more minutes left right now. But there it is now. Wow, now it's completely the other way around.
Yeah, see.
So we just showed this to you 20 minutes ago, and it was the other way around. So it was 57% was on this side. So we are now, and you can just check from what it was yesterday, right? Like just yesterday, there it was. 45% chance that we stayed put, 55% chance for a rate hike. So that's why the market right now has that gas underneath it, right? Is that it's looking like we're not getting that negative move higher. It's a good move higher, depending on where if you got cash, you want to have a higher interest rate as well. But if you're in equities, like the majority, I'm pretty sure the majority of us are, then NASDAQ going upside is well.
Did we get the super chat?
Spotted. I saw a super chat there and it left away. It went away.
Cheese in a chair.
Oh, here we go.
Please, you mean hand. Please hand this $5 to Joe $1 at a time very slowly.
Ouch. Yeah, Joe. I think Joe went to go. Oh, Joe's over there getting his mic.
That
over there right
just
now.
happened.
He does like the single bills. It's much easier. Or here, if you're in Toronto, don't throw loonies. That could hurt.
No, see that's
you don't want to throw.
That's
we don't
problem
actually
here.
have dollar bills.
Even like the $2 is like a toonie, so you're throwing.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. That's why five is the best.
You can
Joe
take an
takes
eye
fives.
out, man.
Fives
Seriously.
is good for sure. So. Shout out there. That was a fun little moment there in time. And thank you, everybody, for joining us one more time today. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's 8:57. The watch list is out. You can go get it on the description right there, link in description. Go grab that watch list. A lot of work and effort puts into it. It's a new format. I hope you guys are enjoying that as well. But, yeah, it's just going to be a wild day today now, I feel like, with the market doing this. So, and then we also have right there, SPCX.
Haven't even mentioned SpaceX.
I wrote this down. This is on my note today at 118 into those pre-market levels there, and we'll see if that holds out. Looking for the short, but it might not be a short today, SpaceX. But look at the market, up 1.2, SpaceX flat. So yeah, maybe there's something to it. It didn't really catch fire there like some of the rest of the market did on this number. So even Apple was another one that I was thinking about as a short today with SpaceX too, because both these names not really participating right now in this higher move, right? Apple's did have a spot, and then it's come back down while the market's kind of just chilling. So yeah, a couple things to look at here today for sure. It's 8:58. We can start the rundown. It's up to the guys, Joe, Sharif, Adara here in the back. It's been a good morning, lots of fun. We want to thank Michael Noss for coming out today as well. But let's throw it back to Adara and Sharif and get this party started here at 9 a.m.
A party can start without an invitation, and our watch list is our invitation to you to take a look at what we're going to be looking at every single day these markets are open. How do you get this watch list, you may ask, which includes info on earnings, etc. You can either type that URL that you see on the screen, or you can hit the link in the description, whatever floats your boat. But in the meantime, I can tell you certainly what is sinking, unfortunately, maybe some boats right now, it's TTD. The trade desk is currently at pre-market lows. This thing was down well over 20% last time that I checked, and it's only going lower, unfortunately. This was a double miss. Guidance, as Neil mentioned, about 20% off estimates, and not in a good way. Yeah, it's I mean, it might be fun to trade, but it's certainly not fun to look at this chart or this report, the trade desk here, Sharif.
Yeah, $750 million in revenue. That's only up 3% year over year. That's anemic growth right there. EPS of 34 misses consensus estimate. You look at the 8K. Stock-based compensation really ate into some of their earnings there. They had GAAP net income of $157.6 million, but when you actually look at their GAAP net income, it's only down to 64.4. A lot of that was based on stock-based compensation. Adjusted EBITDA margins compressed minus 500 basis points sequentially. You also had a sharp sequential guidance rollback. They're guiding down now for Q3, $650 million. That was from the previous guide of 715, pardon me. So a bit of a tough look here, Dare.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like literally a tough look. Sharif mentioned that adjusted EBITDA margin declined, as you guys can see here, 34% for Q2 26, Q2 25, 39%, right? So you can literally see that decline. We're also, I mean, compared to how well this adjusted EBITDA margin was growing through fiscal 25, these last 2 quarters, pretty disappointing. Now, revenue growth, also interesting here. As you guys can see, it has slowed every quarter over the last 6 quarters. This is not a good look for TTD. This visual will be posted probably about an hour and a half from now on X at TTV Research, so stay tuned if you want to look at this in a bit more details. But yeah, it's a rough look, it's a rough read, it's a rough everything, unfortunately, for TTD.
So in the long term, whenever that revenue growth flattens out and looks like it's stopped the decline, that's probably a time to maybe take a look at the stock. To like it. There's way too many things today that are options for long without trying to find a bottom feeder. And it doesn't mean that it couldn't have found a low, like maybe it has, but the market looks pretty strong today right now, so I feel like you don't have to force this one. Like I was saying earlier, you have to zoom out really far. The beginning of 2019 is the last time the trade desk traded at these prices. It's pretty nasty. If there is, at the time, I wrote down the 13 level because it was cresting that 13 and there was resistance there. So it's still a chance the market is strong enough it could get a bounce. If it does a fail break of 13 even, then I like that for a short on trade desk. Anything else, I'm not touching it. Normally, there's sometimes I'd like an SSR bounce. I'd have felt a bit better if it had moved an inch off the lows when the market started screaming. Like that tells you something. Like it's down 29% at lows it hasn't seen in 7 years. The market blasts on a strong number, or on the chance of rates going, lower chance of rates going down. Not rates aren't going to, rates going higher. And this stock cannot catch a bid. So that's telling you something, and I'm going to try to listen to that.
I mean, think about what these guys do. They try to sell advertising, and online advertising. And so what you're dealing with when you're trying to sell online advertising, who exactly you're trying to sell that to, right? There's companies out there that you're trying to say, hey, we have the data. We know, where to put your ads. We know, which products, for example, your customers are looking at, how to integrate that, how to flow. But Amazon also knows how to do that. Google does that, right? Microsoft, all these companies that have all of the consumer data, they're also the ones putting out and selling ad space. So all of a sudden, that game that you were in is now just being compressed, and your margins are now being shrunk down, and the trade desk is over with. This company is over with. I don't, unless they get bought out or something like that, there's no way this is going to survive. Like Amazon and Google are just too huge, and they're doing it themselves now. So, if you get someone calling you, trying to get you online, and you're looking to get, more exposure, this or that, are you going to go to the trade desk? You're going to, go to Amazon, you're going to go to Google. And what the problem is the only thing that these guys are going to have to offer is maybe a better pricing structure, different models, and then Google is just an Amazon. I mean, they could even take a loss probably on your business to get you into their realm. So I don't like it. I don't like the business, and I don't think there's a wall or there's a moat around them. There's nothing. If anything, man, it's caving in on these guys right now, and you can see that down 30%. Like you thought it was bad, well, now it's even worse. So you've broken. It's now to the downside. I just don't see other than a bounce. Like it's for day trading completely a different story altogether, and we could get that bounce today, but down 30%. I mean, it's more than was expected. Whenever there is that gap, I mean, it's the same saying I say all the time. There's the VWAP right there, and we'll just have to wait to see if we wind up taking 1270 or not. But I'm thinking this is a short if we get anywhere back up near 13. If someone wants to try to buy this name, I think we should be sitting there willing to sell it. This is, might be a squeeze today. Did you check out what the short flow was? I think we talked about that earlier.
Actually, I did.
I think it's quite large because what I'm trying to tell people is not rocket science if I'm telling it to you.
20.
Yeah, so 20% short on that float right now. So yeah, bigger name. I mean, this still shouldn't even be valued in the billions. And it is right now $8.3 billion market cap. So, there's probably other names there. If you sort of did a filter on billion-dollar companies and something around 10, there's probably names, other than the trade desk that you may be interested in. So yeah, no, for me, it's a pretty hard pass here on the trade desk today, except for a short around 13 bucks.
Now let's take a look here at META. Meta right now, pretty stagnant. Not a lot of movement here in the stock, but I think certainly worth noticing. We have an update on that New Mexico trial. Apparently, New Mexico judge ordering Meta to pay up, and Meta saying they're not interested in doing that. They're going to appeal.
Yeah, well, there could be grounds for appeal because there was some creative inspiration by this judge. Let's talk about the details first. So the judge ordering Meta to pay $567 million to a New Mexico youth abatement fund. That's in addition to the $942 million, I believe, $375 million that they had to pay in March as a result of a jury verdict. So total, cumulatively here, $942 million that they're on the hook for. But this suit was brought by the state vis-a-vis the public nuisance tort. So public nuisance developed basically in the early 19th century when factories were polluting everywhere. And so there had to be some recourse for residents to take action on the factory. And that's kind of what Meta used as their defense here. But that fell on deaf ears. The judge wasn't having it. Interesting look. So here's what he said. So the judge flipped the logic on Meta, and he said that Meta's platform is actually the factory that was polluting, and its ad content is the product, and the psychological harm and the sexual exploitation that were, I guess, proved at first instance here of the children is the pollution that must be abated under the public nuisance law. So, a wide expansion of public nuisance, and so that obviously is a question of law and subject to appeal. But the judge also took Meta's side when it came to the request, basically to be on the hook for 15 years. That's what the state wanted. So the state of New Mexico argued that Meta should single-handedly fund a 15-year mental health overhaul. The judge ruled no, Meta's only responsible, quote, to the extent of its contributions. Citing factors like poverty and trauma, he scaled back the state's proposed 15-year abatement to 5. And then the state also wanted an independent monitor to look at Meta's platform, to audit their algorithm, to see how people under the age of 18 were being targeted specifically. The judge ruled against that. He did, though, insist that there be certain platform changes. For example, he said anybody under 18 needs to have a private account by default. And then he also says we need to block minors from search recommendations. Who's opened up Instagram or Facebook, and then you just get all these schmucks. You don't even know who they are, but they're being recommended to you. But the mandatory state regulator was decided against the DRAM.
Yeah, this is an interesting look here, Sharif, because under $1 billion, that's not a big issue for Meta. I think the issue would have to be, or the concern would have to be, about other states following
exactly.
suit, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Well said.
So it's an interesting look here for META, but is it an interesting look on the chart for META for you guys, or even Snapchat for that matter?
They just continue to be under the crosshairs. And, the other thing, too, is, remember we were just talking about the trade desk? Obviously, not the same thing, but how the market had that nice rally at 8:30. Meta didn't do anything either. So it's like, okay, well, when the market rallies, what gets bought up this morning? You look at that and you look at what doesn't get bought up. And Meta falls squarely into the latter category, and it barely even moved yesterday. Like, this was one of the probably most boring stocks to look at. So until it starts trading outside of this range, get the juice to get up to 600. Like, look at all of the opportunities, 6 to 605, where there's been some sell action. That's one spot to look at potentially for today. But it just cannot seem like that was the last hurdle. It couldn't break that 600 level. So if it's not trying to test that on market strength, it's kind of a nothing burger here with Meta. And basically, if you're not buying this little triple bottom down there, there's been little to go from for them. They seem to be in the news for all of the wrong reason, and then you make the direct comparison to 3 fantastic quarters from some Mag 7 names, And they're trying to also crack into a business which is difficult to compete in. They want to sell off some extra clout. Well, guess who's been doing it before, right? You want to make the glasses work? Well, guess what you've never really been doing at a big scale, which is sell a physical product. Like, these are things that are new for them. It doesn't mean they can't succeed, but you get a chance to bet on companies that have done it before who already have good margins, and that ends up being a problem.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I just don't. I'm in Meta. I probably have too many shares, but we should have, always coulda, shoulda, woulda with this stock. It seems like every single time there's a negative story out there, it's kind of like, man, why didn't I sell when there was positive news? Because once this stock gets hit, like this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, big movement to the downside right here. So it's nice that we've got a recovery, that's for sure. Would love to see this name trade above $600. And then I think you can get back up into these areas. And then I think we'll just get a little bit lighter on it. Like, I'd rather be in almost, even Tesla, I think I'd rather be in almost every single other Mag 7 name right now than Meta, to be honest with you, because I do think that Tesla does have a little bit of interest, for me anyways, behind them as far as what's going to happen with SpaceX and a potential merger there. You want to talk about selling compute and XAI and all that. I just think that, Tesla's a little bit better in position with that than a Meta for right now. But as we mentioned, man, that Muse coding and all that kind of stuff. And, there's definitely things they're working on. They're not sitting on their hands, that's for sure. But yeah, yesterday, look at Meta during yesterday, right? Pretty much doing nothing. The market's up 1% here. This is what Meta looks like. So, it's not interesting. And yesterday I said it again, like, how in the world are we supposed to be trading this? And I stand, packed with that. It's tough. It's tough as a day trade. Maybe it's a good long-term investment down here. The PEs could be something else. It's in the doghouse. There's not enough juice under it right now. And you thought with some of these releases, it would have already got going, but the fact that it's not is a little bit of a concern. But these numbers are good. Like, there's a lot right now. NVIDIA, there's a lot of names. We talked about Google's P, and now Google's back up. When we bought it at 320, it was a little different. But right there, 19 forward PE, let's call it 20 forward and 22 current. Like, those are pretty decent. That's actually less than the current market multiple. So if you are excited about this market moving forward and you think you have something in Meta, then it's probably a buy down here at this current valuation, and you just sort of let it move upside. Remember, they still haven't monetized WhatsApp to the full capacity that I feel they probably could. And then new days on all of this sort of new coding that they're trying to do right now. So yeah, maybe there's something there. And I opened up, was it WhatsApp yesterday? I forget what it was. It might have been Facebook or something, and it automatically gave options. Like, it said like, oh, do you want a joke or something about, like, it was trying to get me to use.
Trying to prompt.
To prompt, to me just to use the LLM as a basic function there, because or maybe it's to ask me to make a picture of one of my posts or something like that. Anyways, I don't know. This is the whole large language model thing right now. It's like, which one do you want to use and why do you want to use it?
What's getting used for?
And he talked about the expense of it as well. Yeah, I just want to show the NASDAQ, then we're going to go back over to Sharif because he wants to say, okay, you can ask me. Just hold on. 30,000 right here. Now the NASDAQ. We said that it hadn't fallen back in, but right now it is. Yeah, what's up, Sharif?
Man, so we got you on the new Siri. So I just wanted a little feedback from you. How you liking it? Are you using it, Katina, man? What's going on?
Very appropriate to ask me that. I haven't used it once. I don't even, no, because I don't know what I would use it for.
Well,
I really don't.
That's
like, I don't, like, what do you use it? Like, I'll just
the same thing that I use chat for, Katina, man. I'm trying to kind of migrate my chat queries into Siri. That's what I'm trying to do.
So do you use it, do you click on the app, or do you use that little drop down?
The drop one.
My guy. I see that too, yeah. So, all right, maybe I'll start. But I really don't, like, I'm not on my phone as much. Like, what I'll use it for is here. Like, I'll just ask, what is the bear case for Atlassian? Or, things like that. Or, looking up sports-related stuff or equipment stuff, or, basic things like that. Or for when Joe goes to Boston, what to do in downtown Boston.
What's a good place
things like
to eat?
that.
I'm feeling like this.
All those, right, Joe? You know what I'm saying? Or like, what's a good burger place in Liberty Village? I can either ask large language model, or I can ask my guy Joe over here.
I'm going to the game. I want Thai food. Where am I going? It's not, but that's part of the issue with what this is getting used for and how expensive it is. And this is not necessarily the use case the bill is for. You need to not look realistically. You've got to have enterprise using AI to gain productivity to justify the spend that we are having. But I feel like that's a lot of people's experiences. What we could also use it for is to figure out what to do with AAOI today on this volume.
We're going to talk about AAOI. Before I do that, though, I want to provide a little bit of an update here with regards to rate expectations. So before we had this, again, lower than expected NFP print at 8:30 a.m., we were seeing roughly anywhere from 55 to 60% chance of a 25 basis point hike in September. That's now flipped. So now we're seeing about a 56% chance of rates being held in September, 44% chance of a hike. So we're actually now going from, again, majority of participants expecting that we're not going to get that hike now. That's interesting. Look, again, that's just after that NFP print. Now, the other thing that's changing here is we're seeing just one hike now going forward from September 26 all the way to December of 27. That hike, as of right now, expected to maybe take place here in October of 2026. So quick update there with regards to rate odds. Now let's take a look at AAOI and find out what the odds are of this continuing to go to the upside. AAOI, kind of a mixed report here, but certainly one that was well received by investors, at least for the most part. I was looking through these numbers as well. You had year-over-year growth across all of its revenue segments.
Yeah, the guide was light. We should also mention that the Financial Times reported yesterday that Chair Kevin Warsh apparently is warming up to a possible rate hike in September. So that's being reported by the Financial Times. To make of that what you will. Let's talk about this though. So revenue surging 86% year over year, up to basically $92 million. Non-GAAP EPS 6 pennies, beating expectations, but the guide was a little light despite the top and bottom line beat in Q2. Q3 non-GAAP EPS of 11 pennies, well short of the 26 expected by analysts. And the midpoint here is 18.5, so clear miss there. It fell short of that consensus. But let's talk about, the main problem here. It is a bottleneck in capacity. They have so much demand, but very little in the way of capacity. They're unable to meet all the needs, especially for their 800G and 1.6T optical transceivers. They're saying basically, look, our current manufacturing output is very limited and we're unable to kind of meet all the demands of our clients. 800G though, despite the fact that they are supply constrained, they expect that revenue, which came in at $12.8 million in Q2, to 5x sequentially in Q3. Good look there, perhaps why this is ripping up. Component supply shortages continue to be a drag. Third quarter top line guidance of $255 to $290 million. That does absorb about $20 to $25 million in orders that it cannot meet. And then last but not least, Adara, because there's so much demand, they're pouring a lot of CapEx into their Sugar Land, Texas facility where they hope they'll be able to pump out some new optical transceivers by late 28.
Yeah, and my understanding based on where their earnings report came from, I think they're actually headquartered in Sugar Land. So good look there for AAOI. Are you guys looking at this one as a trade or even any of its peers in that optoelectronic space?
Well, I feel like it's at least with like these guys, it's that we'd sell more if we could make more. Story is playing well right now, and you've had a nice little relief rally. It's got all the technical stuff you want: 50 period gone, 200 period sloping up. It's sustained to some degree this breakout 140. Here would be the troubling thing: never traded it before. The spread right now is 75 cents, and it's 10 minutes or just over 10 minutes until the open. So if you lose this breakout over 140, like what's that gap? The gap to yesterday's high is 132, to this prior low was a 135. So there's a big time gap if it loses this 140 right away that you'd have to sustain, which does make it a little bit better for like a late break, watch it settle down type of play. There's just so much to look at. I know we don't even have it on there. I know we've gone over gold and silver, and then of course IBIT are going to be playing trade desk, is going to be moving around, and then SpaceX is flat, but it's been leading volume literally every single day, so you know it's going to be there. So I'm staying away from AAOI. I'd rather look at it as a continuation play if it's going to prove it can break out, because if it tries to fill in the gap, I think as spready as it is, like your slippage could be nasty if you try to buy the dip on this stock. And given that we had to pump up in the market and now pulling back after 8:30, the longs are traditionally those dip buys. And this is one that Not on earnings, not when it's already thin, because it could really run you over.
It's amazing that we just saw the NASDAQ. We talked about that 725 level. It went right to 724. So it came real close into that level and basically got there right into that short. So yeah, maybe we have to wait to see. I think we could, you know, the NASDAQ could really bounce and take this out at some point right now, but it is starting to head to the downside off of that non-farms payroll number that came in as a negative when they're looking between 80 to 90,000 or so expected jobs. It came in minus 23,000. So the NASDAQ is pulling back quite nicely off of these levels. And whenever I mean AAOI, I didn't look at it. But you know, good analysis over there. Palantir still up 1.7%. So this is another name that I was thinking about, you know, potentially now we've stopped that. I thought there could have been a bleed down into the 200 period right there for Palantir, maybe even today. But the market has a different idea for what the NASDAQ wants to do, and maybe the same thing is true for PLTR. So I didn't put this on the sticky note, but I'm looking at a 160 or so trade happening right now. So we're at 158.50. What about a break of the pre-market high of 159.50 right now on Palantir? Still 10 minutes away, and we still have again, a couple more stories to talk about and bounces to come out. So we'll have to wait to see where that goes. Pretty light here on a Friday. I mean,
you're not excited for PNAQ?
That's one of the most ones I'm excited for. A warrant or UN right there. So as you can see, we are looking more buys than sells, right? I mean, Stellantis is the first sell that you're going to see on here. Then after that, there isn't a whole heck of a lot. You have FXI over there in China is going to give you a little bit of a bid. Surprised that we're not seeing like GLD on here or SLV or anything, because the Amex NYSE American is also available, you know, on this market as well, and the imbalance locator early. So we'll have a look. That's only now 4 minutes away, and then we get to see a little bit more action. Everyone wants to know about SpaceX. We don't have that up. We have SK Hynix, but here goes SpaceX again. Still waiting for that 118 level to come into play potentially here right off the open, and then we'll give it a couple seconds. My best trades have happened later on in the day, so we're going to try to give things about 5 minutes to go. But let's go back over the desk right now, and you know, we go from SpaceX over to SK Hynix. You know, two of the biggest IPOs, or at least most recent. I know SK Hynix is not an IPO, but most recent releases on the market that provided a lot of liquidity, soaked up a lot of that same money that we're looking to spend here. So let's go find out what SK Hynix is up to today on Fab News.
Yeah, I mean, SpaceX, of course, a recent IPO that a lot of our viewers are looking at. But another recent IPO here with news this morning is going to be SKHY, or rather the U.S. listing here was, of course, recent. They were already public in South Korea. Speaking of South Korea, 5 trillion South Korean won investment being announced here to build new chip fabs in the country.
So I think you mean 54, right?
Sorry, 54. Yeah.
54, 38.1 billion US dollars, guys, to construct 2 different fab. One's called the Yongjin Y2, that's going to make DRAM and HBM, and then there's another one here called the Chongju M17 that's going to make NAND specifically. But let's talk about the fact that this is not going to bring any near-term relief, right? Clean rooms not going to open. The M17 plant is expected December 28th, and the Y2 plant expected June 29, with full CapEx stretching to those bad boys into 2031, meaning that they're not going to be fully complete until this well past the end of this decade. That mega investments, you know, they're not going to, you know, help with the bottlenecks for at least another 3 years. But they are doing their best, especially with this Y2, which is apparently supposed to have been built by 2045, pardon me. They're bringing it faster online into 2033. And then, you know, everybody always wants to pound the table on HBM because of the demand for data centers, this, that, and the other. But NAND, let's not forget about that. They're earmarking $13.4 billion to expand their NAND capacity there at the M17 plant, which is used for ultra-high capacity SSDs. Those are key for storage required by AI inference engines, as, of course, we move from the chat into the inference agentic era of AI. Dara.
Yeah, I mean, SKHY, I know you guys are watching SPCX. Is this recent listing also of interest to you?
I mean, I've been looking at DRAM mostly, but you know, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. Not just yesterday, but I want to go back to, you know, look at the beginning of the week on Monday. So when SK Hynix was under 140 bucks, you can see like the big bottoming tail yesterday. A lot of stocks did it, but then it did a similar thing at the beginning of the week, like bottom tail candles, and then held these lows underneath the 140. And DRAM, which we're going to be looking at today, very similar. Like It's all the way. I thought it was maybe yesterday going to test this 48, ended up bouncing at 49. But I want to look for that kind of like the reversal candle. Sometimes it's a few at the open on the dip and at the even dollars. So 51, 50, because that's what it's done a couple of times when we've been at these prices. So not really. Like the short level or the resistance level on DRAM, it's shown you 55. If we happen to get there today, I suppose that'd be a thing. But given we've seen that dip in this area before, that's what I'll be looking for in the chip space. And obviously SK Hynix is just one of the big boys. You know, Micron had great numbers as well. Western Digital maybe not so much. They kind of had a nasty road
both things
to hoe there. It was pretty nasty. SK Hynix had a better recovery than Western Digital, but still, I like the dip by levels on DRAM. It's just got to show you that distinct bottoming tail candle, and then it can go.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, the cup of Joe's in
for
play.
a cup of Joe, Java coming through there. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Rob.
You had somebody named Joe on the show. You might want to refer to it different.
Oh yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so just quickly here, I feel like this is all a house of cards, man. I know I've recently invested in Intel, but like, okay, so they're opening up new fabs. When by the time those fabs finally open up and are ready to go, is there going to be a glut? Like, I do feel like there's getting to be a lot right now of supply that people are planning on, releasing into this market, and I'm just not sure how much. I just don't know how much demand there's going to be in a year, 2 years, 3 years. The stock market is a forward-looking engine right now, or always, and I don't really love them spending $40 billion more into this. So as a shareholder, I think things are working well now. Obviously, you want to keep your business moving forward. So I don't think they're necessarily doing anything wrong. It's just for me, I feel like at some point there's going to have to be. And look, Intel's a big one, and I'm a little nervous about that. They have a little bit of a packaging situation there as well, a little different than what SK Hynix is trying to do. IBIT with a sell. There, DraftKings with a sell.
They just flushed $1 DraftKings.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a little bit of a sell there. I mean, it had a really nice move up there, DraftKings, on not a huge quarter. So we talked about that trade yesterday with DraftKings, and that was that let's wait to see the quarter, but I do think it's a buy down here at $21. So we'll have to wait. If we get that opportunity, then you can hold it against yourself a little bit, maybe a couple bucks. Then I think there's a lot of upside if things work out in their favor. I think there is a runway. We'll talk about that maybe as the show goes on. SpaceX with a little bit of a bid there as well. We wanted to look at that heading into the open. All right, 3 minutes left. There it is. We just have DraftKings coming up next. So we'll talk about some DKNG here. But yeah, for me, SK Hynix, I just think it's like there's a lot of investment going into the space right now. And it's just you're planning on having this outpaced demand. And if it's there, then great. If it's not, then a lot of these names are going to get crushed. Like, they've just had such a huge run that sometimes there's time for a pullback, and that time might be now. Not now, but once we roll a couple quarters. Okay, let's go back over to find out about DraftKings and get ready to trade, man. 3 more minutes till your Friday starts.
Mixed quarter and mixed guidance here for DKNG. We beat here on adjusted EPS, but we missed on sales.
This is a tough report, Adara, because the revenue is $1.44 billion, and that's down 5% year over year. This company is supposed to be growing, not dropping their top line number. Also, they lost 14 pennies per share in EPS. So they're not profitable either. And the problem is, they've got a couple of good things here, prediction markets and iGaming. I didn't even know they were in iGaming, to be honest with you. But, the regular sports betting is really dropping off a cliff. And for the first time, sort of just, I guess, to put some damage control on the numbers, they folded their prediction markets numbers with their sports betting numbers so that they wouldn't look too polarized. But when you look at them, it's still a tough look. In any event, overall sports and consumer volume actually increased 15%. So there's more people betting on sports. The problem is, management says it's due to the drop anyway in profitability is due to a cluster of customer-friendly sports outcomes. So I guess too many of their customers or bettors were doing well on their bets. Also, they said there was a lot of promotional spending on their part as well for their prediction market side, which ended up eating into some of the margins there. And then again, as I mentioned, I didn't even know they were into iGaming, but apparently this is a high margin business for them. It grew 7.5% year over year. They're bringing in a little bit less than $500 million on the quarter. It continues to kind of be the primary cash flow buffer against the quarterly drop in the sports betting income. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah, how do you guys feel about DraftKings today? You betting on this one?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if I'd draft them first overall, but I think I'd draft
Back
them.
half of the lottery.
Yeah, exactly. You get
Take
a
a
discount.
flyer. You're looking for a sixth man instead of maybe.
Yeah, you're just getting a discount. You're looking for that one flex position that you're still looking to fill.
So you went football, I'm going basketball.
Yeah, both. But well, football's coming, right?
That's
right
true.
now, I don't even know who won last night. I was at my football game and didn't pay attention to the Panthers versus Cardinals.
The NFL won because they make a lot of money.
Oh yeah. But I saw Carson Beck threw a sick bomb there yesterday as well. So I'm not sure who won that game.
Taking him at 17 in my dynasty.
NFL is back. Okay, so SpaceX right now up to 115. Yeah, look, I mean, we talked about DraftKings. I like those levels. We are now moments away from the open. So yeah, DKNG right now. We are going to have to put up VinFast in just a couple seconds, but there it is, $23. We'll see if we can break that high up 3.5%. Look at the market, came all the way back. Oh, this is brought to you by Orogenics, pioneering brain-first neurologic therapeutics. So thank you to OGen, symbol OGEN. Go check them out for sponsoring this segment of the opening bell run. Thank you, Orogenics, once again for being one of our primary sponsors. All right, so 115 there. Let's see what SpaceX wants to do right now. Just bouncing around. We always expect this kind of a action off the open as, traders figure out their positioning and, market orders hit and so on and so forth. But yeah, pretty disturbing, not disturbing, but pretty unfortunate, I guess, that this market was just really rocking. We're like, wow, we haven't come back into where we were before the open. And we did. We basically just touched VWAP, which is where we started at 830. So, not a great look there on that one. That SpaceX, I mean, we can look at, I'm watching IBIT. I can see it at the bottom here. We do have Bitcoin right there. I'm still looking to buy somewhere around 36.65, 36.60. We'll see where that winds up settling down right now. SpaceX up to 116. The other name that I had that I would figure I'm going to be trading today, and unfortunately it's already gone, but Intel. And this is the problem when you write levels down, at 7:30, 8 o'clock. I was thinking $100 was coming into play for Intel. No, it goes the other way right now, up to 103 there for INTC. But no early trades for me quite yet as we just calm down and we wait for this market to settle.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. Like you said, Bitcoin literally
Palantir
did not move. Gold and silver obviously are going to be in play. We showed that daily chart. GLD, I mean, it's holding some of the highs, but distinctly different right now is SLV. It's under VWAP. It's pressing low, so maybe it does try to fill in that gap to 57. There's DJ Vinny asking about GLD. So gold's stronger than silver, so probably GDX as well. But very light action off the open. Like, we've done nothing. Look, the range is $3 in the last half an hour, and this hasn't even moved a buck. So you're just going to have to be patient. Oh, sorry, Hertz traders. Oh, it would have been nice if this squeeze could. That's already dead. Hertz just dropped like 10%. So that potential squeeze looks like it is dead in the water.
By the way, Palantir and Alex Karp. I don't know what else to tell everybody else. I can go get my hat on again. But there it goes, 163, up 5% right now, and a rocket to the north side there for Palantir. Well, the same reason why Brendan doesn't sit here, everybody. We all have our own roles, and Adara is one of the best covering news in the business. So there is no way we would sacrifice her here. And she does trade.
I do trade.
Yeah, he does trade. But
Gotta be looking at Cloudflare.
The question was like, if we are, is Cloudflare moving around? We were just talking about it because Adara does make some trades back there, but her sitting here would be a waste because.
Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah.
I also did sit there on October 9th and 10th, 2026 on the midday, 2025 next to Obi. So I've sat there before, but I much prefer being at the news desk and not feeling the pressure to trade like constantly. Like I like where I am.
Yeah.
I love the
I don't like the pressure to trade
date.
constantly either. The exact date there. Yeah, so you can go back and have a look at those dates if you want to see Adara trading.
I bet you if you asked Adara the last time she had like a cheeseburger, she'd tell you exactly the date.
Yeah, July 14th in 2026.
Obviously, I know that's not true.
Okay, so
again, go ahead.
Here we go. No, SpaceX is at 118, the level that I liked, but it's just an absolute. I was gonna say rocket again, but that's just so stupid. But I'm gonna take 120 long, so I'm not shorting this thing right now. I know I wrote down 118 was a level that I liked. If you're coming over here to SpaceX. You can check it out, but look at the momentum right there. There's that 118. We've already broken it, and now it's high side. So let's look at a key level of 120. I'm going to try to push the long. We'll take almost a unit or about a unit on that trade when we do get up there into 120. But hey, man, like I said, everyone look left, SpaceX going right. We said that Elon loves to roast these shorts, and yesterday everybody thought, heading into this week that this was going to be SpaceX demise. Yesterday we wrote down 105 as a long, which we would have put that in our long-term account because that would have been monstrous right now. Up 15% from yesterday's low. Up 15% from yesterday's low.
Cannot be stopped.
So I mean, right there, SpaceX, like, yeah, where's the unwind happening, right? Like, people aren't coming in and selling this thing. They're actually doing quite the opposite. They're in there buying the, out of SpaceX.
I guess
right
when it's
now.
dropped so far, that's.
And I'm going to try to figure it out if we can get along through 120. May not last. Like, I don't want to punch the top there. We haven't been slowing down.
It's still $1 away.
Yeah, well, yeah, that doesn't take that long. We'll see if it does break. Yeah, Neil's right. I mean, we still got to wait for it, but the order's in there, and here it comes right now. This could break in like the next 20 seconds. So we're going to be long SpaceX breaking back above, and really, I don't want to give this too much room, man. Maybe $1.50 or so into that area. Just want to play the momentum higher. Maybe SpaceX continues to climb through 120. So there it is. We'll give it a go here.
Yeah, and even moves up in trade desk, by the way. That's actually. It's challenging that $13.50 level. So broke 13, so I didn't trade it. But the first thing that IBIT did was to hold VWAP and hold some higher lows. So it's not going to necessarily fill in the gap, but it did bounce off the trend line. So I got partials. We'll try to get the rest at VWAP in here at same price, give it to the prior bar low, see if we can ride that train to the upside. Remember, the NASDAQ made a distinct high. I mean, whatever, everything made a high on that 830 jobs number, which you have to respect as we get in. So if they put in a lower high and start rejecting back lower, you don't want to get trapped at this top. I might have missed any chance at the trade desk fade. Big time move up right into the prior low, and just this slammed. Like, it got there. I was looking at it while I was talking to you and showing you guys the trade. There wasn't much of a chance to get that top. It's already pulled back 3%. But trade desk now only down 26%. After a nice little ramp job. If that 13.5 can hold, that might be a good place to try the short on that name. SpaceX still doing the same thing. Not much else moves. That Hertz is completely dead.
I don't know.
What happened to AMD?
I mean, I'm not a big fan of this AMD stock or chart, but yeah, it is straight down. Okay, SpaceX is going to fill me right now. It is gone through 120 in a matter of seconds. I only crossed up to 120.20. I understand the spread is very good, so hopefully we'll be able to get a price that we want right now. I mean, it opens up at most of 10 cents. It just bounced off 120 clean. It's a good thing we didn't get hit into that position as it almost broke through that 120. So yet again, another look there for 120 on SoFi, just bounced completely off of that. Look at the market, completely retracing back in. What in the hell? Could you find me a story on AMD, please? I don't know if this is what it is, but we can go over and have a look at NVIDIA.
NVIDIA is at the high.
See what the heck is, that's what I mean. NVIDIA's at the highs. Adara, see, this is, why is Adara not trading at the desk?
Intel just.
All right, let's go back over to Adara and find out what's going on here.
Intel.
I know because it was on my own personal notes, but AMD's buying a chip startup called Talas. That's all I have in AMD. It's still all I have in AMD. SK Hynix, though, is moving along with a lot of these memory plays. I'm seeing reports that SK Hynix apparently speaking with advisors on a potential deal for a China plant. They're apparently considering $3 billion options here for Chongqing. So some SKHY news. I have nothing, though, on this AMD. They all look kind of similar. Here's SNDK. So I think it's some memory and chip plays.
For the record on AMD, that company they're buying, Toronto-based, as a matter of fact. So shout out to Canada. But I was looking over. If we lose VWAP, I think the thing I wrote down for short was SMCI, but it was at 31. So it's not going to 31 at this point because it's already at the low. Some of these chip names are getting bled here. Yeah, I want to try to join this if I can, but it's not going to be a flat bottom break. If we get any relief off the lows, I'll look for the volume weighted average price there in SMCI. So it's going to pop an offer and get a stop. SpaceX, is it true that top?
Yeah.
No, because
I was watching it.
Okay, my level 2 says it broke, but I don't see.
No.
It didn't break.
No.
Yeah, my thing says
I'd be in if it broke. Trust me. My fill is going at one. What's going to break right now?
My thing says 29.
Yeah, I know.
120
It did
plan.
not.
Okay.
It did not. Or else I'd be in and be crying a river right now. But here we go, man. We are going to be in right now to it. We tried to dip by. I'm just going to watch this. I did try to dip by Intel, but that didn't come in. I was trying to wait for about $101. It did come pretty close to it here, just in case this doesn't break. It's going to break right now, though, isn't it? Okay, hold on a second. Yeah, there's Intel. So Intel did come in into 101, but we didn't get that fill. So, okay, there it is. We are now into SpaceX. SpaceX just broke. There it is. So it broke through 120. We're long at 120.07. So, okay with the price that we're in at right now on this. We didn't get well, there it is. We get some out in the 30s right now. So we'll see where this goes from there. We just got filled at 37s there on SpaceX. So just quickly in and not even in and out, just out of a little piece right there, 37s, 120.37 there. We got our first fill when we put the order out. For some reason, we got 24s, then we got 37s. So here we go, man. SpaceX. Let's see how high we can now fly on SPCX. Was my number one stock yesterday. I made the most since IPO day yesterday. So we're going to go right back into the well now and take this SpaceX long through 120. Could break. Like, this could fall against itself. Who knows? But there's a size there. We need it to break there. It goes higher now. SpaceX. Now that we've taken a little bit out, we still have obviously pretty much the whole position now, but we're going to give this, like I said, to about 118.50, sort of where we started. We can actually go a little lower. We can go to 117.50 right there, but 250 hit on how many shares we have. It's not the end of the world if that were to happen, but let's just go. We had about 1 unit now. We got out of about 20%. That's it. So here it's coming back down in. Yeah, I don't think we want to hold this for too long, but the market needs to help us out as well. And that would be nice if that got going back up to the upside right here. So, quick little hold on SpaceX. We don't want to panic too much here. But 120 key level. Just don't want to get stuck up here if we're wrong.
So the worst stock in the world is trying to go. And we're just calling. We're
TTD, sorry.
I'm calling Trade Desk the worst stock in the world.
Yes, you're right.
And the reason we're calling Trade Desk the worst stock in the world is not because of anything fundamental. It's just I can't think of something that people know and probably some people own that has a chart as bad. But it did go back to that 13.5 price. End up not 40s, end up with 39s in here, so it's a little bit more than the 10-cent risk. VWAP sits at 13 even, so it's good risk to reward. But remember, there's a 20% short float. I have a hard stop at the high, not a cent or two. The literal high is the hard stop on this thing. Do not want it getting any past that. I did get a reload on IBIT off of VWAP. So it's bounced off the volume weighted average price twice and then retested the pre-market highs. But I feel like the way this market is going, market holds VWAP, that's a great sign. We're just doing the exact same thing over an IBIT, almost no difference. Yeah, so I didn't want to give Trade Desk too much room there because that sucker is just a little too strong. But we gave it our shot off our level. It's just, I don't feel like fighting this one at 941, even if I think overall this is going to be a short. And there's no gold or silver trade for me yet.
No, What's the market?
Like silver, maybe silver just bounced the pre-market low and is trying to grab VWAP here. So that's giving the same setup that I guess Bitcoin is doing. Still like them both long, but it could end up in kind of something that's eerily similar. But that's fine. The market's been bullish so far. Just need this holding above the volume weighted average price, and then we can go there. The only thing that gives me pause is gold. Seems a little bit stronger. Hopefully, it can drag silver with it. GLD HOD.
GLD HOD. Okay, yeah, that's no surprise there, as we talked about that little breakout there in gold. Okay, still trying to look for positions that might make a little bit of sense. I was still trying to bid some Intel. Let's go and re-look at that trade right now. So I am bidding 1825s right now on SpaceX. So if that comes in, we initially thought about an 18 short there, and it blew it up. And I feel like this. The problem is it was like 937 or so when that broke, maybe a little bit early, and just trying to let SpaceX settle out. A little bit less volume than what we've seen. It's still 29 million, still a lot of volume, but are the buyers still here? That's the one question I have right now. We just ripped up 40 cents. Well, we were just at 119 there. We just went to 120 immediately. So let's, like I said, let's give this a little bit of room here, see if the buyers do want to come in. But now that's a couple times we've made it back to 120 right now in the last 5 minutes and not broken higher. So a little bit of a pause for me for concern here. We could actually almost get out and then just reload this thing if it does break higher again, and just sort of take it as a flattish trade right now. And then if it breaks one more time, then get back into it if it does break, because right now it doesn't look like it's giving me the feels that it wants to do a whole heck of a lot here. Like, we could have just got long 119 a couple times and taken it out for, 50, 60, 80 cents, whatever. And we didn't do that. So yeah, a little bit of a nervous trade, I think, because we're not breaking higher right now. So I'll
A lot of Palantir chatter.
yeah, Palantir is going nuts.
65.
65s, wow. Good trade there for PLTR. Just wondering about this trade now on SpaceX, guys. It doesn't want to break, it doesn't look like. So I'm like close to hitting the key as getting out, and then just refreshing this on a breakthrough 120. But let's go, here it goes. So we didn't do anything there. So let's see if we do get a little upside push on this name for SpaceX. And there's the fail again. So yeah, let's take a little bit out. We'll take a little bit out there at 75. And just now we'll have to give it a little bit of room, obviously, to see if it wants to go. We'll take out just another piece there, because I'm not afraid to reload this thing naturally if there is a problem. So let's get out. I now only have about 40% of that initial position, but I still do like the long if we do break back above 120 and change. But just for right now, it is struggling a bit. So let's give it a minute to see if it wants to go higher through 120 here, SpaceX.
And yeah, you can see the super chat we have here from Lee, or shoot, you told us what your name was, and I'm forgetting it already. Lee. Palantir, remember we thought it was Ortiz, but it's not.
Oh, right.
Palantir continues upward move to what resistance today? Let's look at the daily chart. What resistance? There's literally one level. That's about it. If it breaks that in $1 or so, you're good to go. It's 2 days ago, it was 166. Over that, it's blue skies. That looks like a blue sky setup on Palantir, above 166. I'll call it 166.20, but I'm just eyeballing it on a 15-minute chart there. So Palantir absolutely off to the races. Remember this about the software names. There are very clearly good ones and bad ones.
Yeah.
Like, it's so obvious now that you know which ones are dogs and you know which ones you can follow. Palantir has certainly gotten the nod of approval.
Okay.
If we're calling it that.
Yeah, we are, because they did have a good, finally, let's go.
Money.
We actually got some out there. We talked about how much we got out. We did buy it back on that breakthrough 120. So we just got 120.80s there. Hopefully we can get a little higher. And there's the pullback in again. So that, I think we've done right by exiting out a little bit of this trade here and getting a little nervous on it. I've switched my stop right now to 118.75 break. We break below these last wicks. We don't want this anymore. We'll average it in right now. Decent price we just got there on the downside, 119.68. So there it is, man. Take out, Hassett says what? Take out government workers, the World Cup and jobs. Oh, okay.
Oh, so that's saying...
Oh, what happened to Intel there? Oh, we just got long on Intel. Go ahead, yeah.
So they're basically telling you the revisions, what the revisions are likely to be. Well, okay, in their opinions. But we know that with that report, revisions are everything. That's always the case. It's like they never get it right. But we're starting to bleed. Like, the NASDAQ might be at VWAP and holding it, but look at DRAM. DRAM's still making some lows. So if it's going to do that bottoming tail candle that it did yesterday or the other day, it might end up being on the 15-minute, because we're seeing a lot of weakness here. Let's go to Adair at the desk. She has an update for us.
Just a reminder here on the reason for the weakness in DRAM, at least potentially. A little bit after the bell, you get this report from Bloomberg saying that the company, SK Hynix rather, is exploring a deal involving their $3 billion Chongqing plant in China. Apparently, they're reviewing options for the asset, though they could end up retaining a minority stake. So this is just partial exit rather than a full exit. But either way here, that report comes out basically right after the opening. We start to see drops in the likes of SKHY, DRAM, WDC at lows. I believe we have SanDisk near lows. And keep in mind, SanDisk and WDC also are both earnings day 2. So yeah, that's the reason for this memory being especially weak here. Back to you.
Just unfortunately, we have to. I'm just going to update this. We'll go throw it back to Neil there. But yeah, we just got stopped out there of SpaceX. And honestly, man, we lost a quarter of what we made yesterday. So we did give some back on that move. I thought 120 was going to be something there. It wasn't. I'm still fine to take it again, but at least our spidey sense was right there. Sense that there was a little bit of a problem. We did talk about it, and we got out there on that wick bottom. I was going to give it to down here, remember, VWAP, but just felt like it was a little too weak to do that. And just as we talked about it, we'll hit the new position siren coming out there. it's kind of funny because normally I would sit at $100.50. Instead, we did $100.70. So thought that Intel was going to be a decent buy here. We did have some of these pre-market levels that we were looking at in and around here. So, just thought that we would have took a bid in there. If this breaks 100, we're going to get out. And then just be like, whatever, man, we'll go that first 2 trades. SpaceX not even close to as bad as it could have been because we did have that out at $120.80 there today. But if Intel breaks 100, then I'm going to get out, like just a key level break. I know I wrote down here that I want to buy Intel between 99 and $100, but don't want to hold this one. Like that would be 70 cents against me. And then if it breaks a 99s, then this trade turns out to be the risk to reward is just not there for that. Look at SpaceX as if. Did I punch the bottoms again on SPCX? Potentially have done that. So why don't we just get maybe a little bit longer now, but not as many shares so we don't have to panic if it does go against us. But it looks like your boy, once again, might have found the bottom of a stock. We found the top, but we also found the bottom 2 minutes later. So yeah, let's go. We're back into it right now in the 60s. We'll give this one a little bit of juice because, again, we only have 15% right now of our position that we're looking for. So yeah, we'll look at 119 maybe there. But SpaceX trying to get back to the upside. Very focused on a couple names here.
Yeah, well, I keep looking at DRAM to see if it's time to get into that one, but it's still just falling like a rock. AMD chip name and the memory names are looking pretty ugly. Or we just bounced off the trend line again. This time, instead of getting VWAP, there's my trend line on IBIT. Instead of getting VWAP, try to see where the bottoming tail would go, and then I can try to grab a better entry because my stop is going to be underneath that wick. We have Shuhari.
Shuhari,
Yeah, Shuhari. Microsoft at 5 and 15. 5 at 5 and 15 min or high. All right, it's a little confusing, but whatever. I get the gist of it. You probably meant to type 50. You probably meant to type a 0, like 505. Is that what you meant? It's at the high of the day at 505. I'm going to assume that's what you mean. Microsoft, we were just talking about how it is all about which software name you are.
Oh,
and the ones that are winning are really winning, and that's Softy and Palantir. That's where the strength is in this market. It ain't chips right now. This is a clean break on the daily, I want to say, above that 500 to 14. There is some room to go. But right now, outside of what I'm in, it's DRAM that I'm focused on because it's really starting to close in that gap. 50 is approaching. It looks like 51 is not going to be much of a bounce zone. Just looking for that wick bottom and reversal on DRAM. If it's at 50, then it's at 50, and we just have to be pretty patient here because it's falling like a rock. We saw this. AMD got smoked this morning, and SK Hynix and DRAM, Micron taking the hit despite the market strength.
Yeah, I mean, sure. But, we're already at, okay. It's a good thing we got a little bit back into SpaceX, but like we said, man, 20%, 15% of the position there on SpaceX. It just went into 121, so we take some outs again on the upside right now of SPCX. So, but there goes Intel. Like, it's funny because we have to flush it down because we are getting hit on some of these trades, but they're not actually that bad. Like, we're doing proper share sizing, but it's 9:51 right now, and I think it's time to almost get ready to rock and roll. I was not expecting this move down in Intel or in AMD today. I mean, I think the strength is really just going to be in NVIDIA and some of these plays. Why am I looking at SpaceX? I don't need to worry about that anymore. But Intel down here to 99 was an area that we had seen, and if we sort of zoom this back out a little bit, this is why we liked this 99 area because it was right into here. But like I had mentioned, I didn't really want to hold this into a problem area because if we were still long there, then, whatever happens now happens. But getting out on the 100 break sort of lets me regroup a little bit now, and hopefully we can see clearly and make a better trade on.
Only when the rain is gone, though.
Yeah, only when the rain is gone. And I think I don't know if it's supposed to rain this weekend. We have a game tomorrow against Royal York at High Park. That should be fun. The girls are excited for that one. One of our arch nemesis there, Royal York. But hopefully we win. I don't know. They lost when I wasn't there, but
weakness here.
I'm here now. So, all right. So 99.50s coming back in now. So we do want to try that as a bid there against some of our levels of $99. If it does break 99, let's put that order in right now. 98. Let's go to 75. Let's go Let's go 79. Okay, we'll see if just again random position pricing, which is sometimes gets you in trouble. But there it is. We get the bid now on Intel at 99.60s. It's basically a flat trade for now. SpaceX doing its best to try to hold 120. So pretty good. We did get back into SpaceX right there. But, you know, the bleed might be real on Intel, man. So
DRAM just took the low of the day again.
Okay, so that's not going to be good for this.
Again, I'm just like, I want to be long. I want to be long the dip because that's worked in this area for sure. We'll try it. I'm asking Adair, for everyone in the chat, I've asked Adair what's going on with Robinhood. So I don't
have anything on Benzinga for this in the
Up or
last
down?
2 days, nor do I have any news on this. Though, in fact,
up.
anything I'm seeing even potentially related to this, at least in people's eyes, not my own. People are saying maybe like this could be DraftKings related, but then that wouldn't explain this move. So I really don't have anything for you. If that at all changes, I'll keep you posted. And you can't even argue that this would be like, I guess, a positive play for crypto. I mean, a lot of these crypto names moving similarly, but as I told you, we're seeing dwindling odds that we get the Clarity Act passed, not just this month. We're talking even this year at this point.
Well, I mean, I'm telling you right now, like Bitcoin's not really moving. Like early it was pressing in. Oh, Coinbase is going? Well, Bitcoin's not. Like it's already pressing that opening range low. So I got the dip by at a better price. And all it's doing right now is holding the low and nothing else. Like I feel like I'm going to be jumping out of that any second and then staring down DRAM for it wants to go. So Coinbase being strong on its own, and I don't know. I'm not going to jump over and say that should be a fade just because it doesn't make sense. I look over, SoFi is showing a huge reversal candle. Off of 1810 or so and going higher. But DRAM continues to fall. It looks like we just broke 50 away from 51, 50 half. It's going to get to this 50 level rather quickly, the way this is going to the downside. Any trend break or bottoming tail, it will be the first trade for me on this sucker. But with the market not really doing much, you're absolutely flushing on these memory chip names and not looking good at all. AMD, by the way, did recover. So it really just is memory. That's filling that gap into the downside. Haven't really shown too much with gold and silver. I thought that would be a much bigger deal today with the gap up. But remember, we're waiting for the break above VWAP on SLV. Still waiting for it. It's 15 cents away. That's all it has to do. 15 cents, and then it's a break above VWAP. So if you see silver come in, it should be at like 21 or 22 if I don't get any slippage, but it just won't go.
Yeah, no, I actually just realized I forgot to hit accept on my pay for shorts for SpaceX right here. But okay, so we did, yeah, because it did fall out. We got some out there at 121. Like I said, we're not really heavily into this name as of yet. Still waiting to see if that 118 will hold on SpaceX. So I'm just going to pay for. I mean, it's basically it is essentially free. It's just sometimes I guess the broker trying to squeeze a little bit there. Ooh, some decent size right there. Yeah, it costs like 5 cents for 100 shares. So you take 1,000 shares there, it's going to cost you 50 cents for SpaceX positioning there if you like to go short here at Real Trading. All right, so a couple outs at the top there. We only got out of a third of our position now, but again, it was not big. It was only 15%. So we're happy that it went to the, actually, then we got a little bit more than that, to the upside. But we are looking now to potentially reload at this spot. So let's take advantage of that. We'll take some 50. We're always saying that 50s over there. But we're going to go now and see what winds up happening. 118, that's going to be VWAP. We're always looking at VWAP and saying like, hey, man, maybe this is a spot where we want to slow down a little bit. So that's going to be where my out is. A break upside there in and around VWAP for SpaceX, and we will get out of that one. You guys are not wrong, and we love this name because we got diamond hands in the portfolio with Palantir, and this has been a good one. I had said even on earnings, right, that we were expecting. That we were expecting continuation, and all of a sudden we got a down day yesterday on Palantir, but today it's happening for us. It's happening. It's alive. Palantir right there. I don't know if it's
dead over in DRAM. I just had the 50s.
Oh, no.
I got in at
You're short though.
No, I got in 50.05. We got out at 97 or something, but it's trying to battle back above 50. If I see it retake it, I might try to grab it on the way back to the upside. But the bleed's still happening.
Oh, yeah.
I've been waiting it out here. The 50s keep coming in, and
it's 50.
Someone buys it back up, it gets to 0102, and then they slam it right back down underneath. So until you can actually see buyers above 50, I don't want to jump into it, and we'll let it fill in a little bit more of the gap, just a bit more, as it continues to fall. Absolutely disgusting. Disgusting what's happening with the memory chip names here. There is a Chinese one halted to the upside. It's YJ, but I don't have that one up, so I can't tell you I don't have the tap on my Halt scanner. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I know.
That's I
That's
gotta
another improvement. All right, man, we took a unit. Let's go right there. So now we're really laughing. We're up now on SpaceX on the day. This is going to be a green stock as of now on SpaceX. So, nice move upside there. We talked about what we were trying to do, buy it down at these levels instead of punching out and give it up down to 118. So we do that, and there it goes right now, $1.30. So whether or not you're in the club, whatever you're doing today, there it goes. It's a nice move higher now for SPCX, guys. And guess what, man? This Intel trade, falling down, as we mentioned there with the DRAM.
is still dying.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not.
I'm just backing off of this one. I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, I think that's probably.
This is really nasty.
I think that's probably a good move. I mean, I was telling this to Obi. Sometimes I feel like I know when I'm in trouble.
Yesterday's low is still $1 away on DRAM.
Yeah. When I'm like, I could feel it when I'm in trouble and I'm averaging in and I'm getting pissed off, or there's revenge trading, and it's like, and it's just. That's what's really changed for me anyways in the last little bit, is like, just be patient, wait for your trades to develop, and then hit them when they're there, right? And so it's been a good ride, and it's been a good lesson for me anyways. And you're learning every single day how to become a better trader, what some of your mistakes are as a trader, and the tendencies that you do have, right? And like, I before would just like punching out like just too many shares. I get hit out right there, and then I can't enjoy this move up. So instead, it's like lower your shares, find the levels, and it's actually creating a little bit more opportunities for me P&L wise. Because even though we're lowering our shares, we still have the shares on. It's just we're being more specific with our hits, and then making sure that we do have outs, like not getting too greedy. Like we just got out there at 121 a little bit there, right? So we got to go back over to Adara, and then we'll come back and we'll see what all these stocks are on the rebound, hopefully, for some of these chip names. Let's go back over to Adara.
S&P 500 right now, kind of pretty stagnant here, just chopping around. We did have this nice move up here, though, around 830. What happened at 830, you may ask? We had this much lower than expected non-farm payroll print. As such, now the chances of rates getting raised in September have dropped quite considerably. Unemployment rate also lower than we were expecting. We've already had individuals like National Economic Council leader and economic advisor to the White House, Kevin Hassett. He's already basically downplayed these numbers, saying that the only thing he cares about, to use his exact words, is unemployment. And NFP, he basically implied, can be revised if you just ignore, or I guess if you consider FIFA and government workers. So take that how you will. Either way, the S&P 500 is not taking it too hard. Right now, we're still gapped up compared to where we closed yesterday. The NASDAQ, as we know, was initially looking a little bit weaker than the SPY. Right now, still also gapping up on the day, so not a bad look here for the NASDAQ and for the S&P 500. Here is TEAM Atlassian. This is one of many software names that reported stronger than expected earnings for the quarter and is trading higher. Here is TEAM, AAOI. Some of these numbers were a bit more mixed, but they're still to the upside. And Cloudflare continuing to net some growth, even though it is a little bit removed from where are the high of that gap to the upside on those numbers. Here's another earnings play that is actually pushing higher, though it's still gapped down massively. That is the Trade Desk. TTD missing on sales, missing on earnings, and missing on guidance. Whatever the opposite of a triple play is, that's what TTD gave us, unfortunately. And last but not least, SKHY is just continuing to give us new intraday lows. Its peers like SanDisk, WDC, and DRAM do not look dissimilar. This on watch here after Bloomberg reported, basically right after the bell, that the company is considering different options here for its $3 billion Chongqing plant and related assets over there in China. So keep an eye on memory, and don't forget to like and subscribe as we send you over to Mr. Neil Roberts.
Thank you, Adara. And for those that have asked me, I'm going to give you the tap on MB first. $15.80. I'm not making it up. I know it's halted up, but it is indicating that it's going to open down $4. It doesn't mean it will open down $4, but that's what it's telling you at the current moment.
Man. Sweet trades requires a sweet tooth, so they did have.
Well, that sucks. That sucks. MB.
Here we go.
Sorry, guys. It did open up $4 down, just tanked another $1 here on MB. But I promise your broker is not giving you cookies. The other thing your broker might not be offering you is something that Trade the Pool is. In extreme markets, you have an environment that creates big opportunities, but with that, bigger setups and more momentum. But if you want to take advantage, you're going to want to have two things: discipline and access to capital. That's where Trade the Pool is coming in. Instead of being limited by the size of your own account, traders can access firm capital and focus on executing their strategy and managing risk. Don't fear blowing up your personal account. Don't move your stop loss early because you're worried about your own savings. It's called limited risk trading. So if you want to take advantage of the volatility in today's markets without risking your own capital, visit tradethepool.com and scan the QR code out in front of you. I want to thank them for sponsoring this portion of the show, as that stock's going into a down halt now.
We
Yeah, yuck. Sorry, guys.
did you look for shorts yet on or pay for shorts?
Yeah, I didn't have a chance. I probably would have been, but I was just doing the ad read. It's underneath VWAP, so for me that means pay for shorts, and I'm going to go do that now. Adara.
If you guys are wondering here why SPCX is to the upside, currently right now struggling with 121.50, but still up roughly 5%. Apparently Argus Research raised them to a buy, so this upgrade on SPCX potentially in focus today as we send you back over to the guys.
Just thanks, Adara. Just the reason why, I like the first up halt, but the reason this one got missed is it down halted at 9:30 and looked like it was a flat bottom break. Then it opened higher and instantly up halted. So it wasn't above VWAP, it wasn't on the radar. Then it did how many halts? 1, 2, 3, and then turned. So that whole 3 halt thing, just for whatever reason, it just seems to be a thing. And I'm not saying that's nothing intelligent. One trader a couple of years ago was like, this is the way I look at halts, and it seems like it's held. So I'm trying to be patient with this wick bottom area for DRAM. We're going to get there.
Yeah, I'm trying to be patient with everything over
It
here.
is dying. Memory's dying right now.
I mean, the markets. Yeah, so I was going to say we're trying to be patient with Intel, but it just lost 99, so we got out right there. So, able to take some profit off of it, but I'm, again, glad that we stopped out there at 100, was able to reload it, made $1 or 50 cents back right there, made not much there, like 20 or 30 cents, and then lost it through 99 bucks. But what's been going on here is SpaceX. And it's like, this is now $2 in the money, and we've just been clearing out some here. We still have a quarter of a unit. I think we're doing a pretty good job thinking about holding this name. So SpaceX right now, cooking. I don't have anything until 22s. You know what? Let's just put a little bit of an offer here in the 60s in case it does wind up getting to that level. That's been the high. Our best outs have been right here at 50. So hopefully it gets a move higher there for SPCX. But Neil's completely accurate with his comments here about DRAM and what's been happening there. AMD just came close to making its lows one more time right there. Go. We got that SpaceX fill. Wow. We're going to get 122s here. We're going to ring the register right here. This is for you, Ozan. You've been asking hey, where's that exploding cow? There it is. And there's 122. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, there it goes. And oh my God. I like it. Right there, our first trade was the break of 120. That was our first trade of the day. If we had that still, it would be a $2 winner. However, we get out, right? Because it breaks lower, and then there it goes now right back into the profit zones now for our guy SpaceX, as it's just huge. It's a big stock for me today, and good, because we wanted it, and there it goes higher. It's SPCX on the run right now. Pardon me. Boo, Intel. We picked the low again on Intel. How about that? Right there, $99 straight upside. Wow, our net would be a little different there if we didn't get stopped out of that Intel, but we did. And there it goes, man, up to 100 and change. There goes Intel. Wow, absolutely ripped city right there. We get out at the low of our range. So potentially could have held it, but we did get stopped out. It was 98.79, I think. So we did give it 20 cents lower, and we're not going to complain about it because we do have SpaceX, but wow, that Intel move right back up was real nice. We have Warsh speaking, right now? I think it was Hassett, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, you have Hassett. You're also supposed
Hassett.
to get Fed's barking.
Yeah, the other guy.
Hassett is basically just downplaying the jobs numbers. He's
Right.
continuing to downplay the jobs numbers. I suspect he will continue to do that in more creatively worded ways every couple seconds. Like you guys know, if I see something that's very creative or that I find up to be a specific interest, I'll just put it on the screen or I'll mention it. Like that whole comment where he said almost the only thing he cares about, almost as not me, that's him, was that the unemployment. He's ignoring NFP basically.
Okay. And again, if anything important hits, just looked up, USO just went green on the session.
Oh yeah, what about
And it
gold?
continues to go higher. Well, gold hasn't. I have an order to still break long in silver that I should probably just go ahead and cancel, because at this point the likelihood is almost nil. I might have punched early on this bottoming tail because we haven't actually closed a green candle. So two things: A, I'm not going to add to it. B, I'm not going to give it to the low. I'm just going to get out if it breaks like underneath the 40, the first even underneath the body of the candle, because you still don't have a green candle, so I shouldn't have bought it. Right? Like that's the rule. Got in half, but shouldn't have bought it because that's still a red or indecisive candle. Once there's a green candle, that should be the long, and you're playing to 50 and then to the volume weighted average price. And it still might close green, but that's way too early of an entry. SLV, I still have my break-it order.
And that cookie was too good. Honestly.
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna, let me cancel that order on SLV, because we're not going to, if we break 58.2 for that VWAP, like give me a break. Now we're starting to fill in the gap, and it was about 57 on the high time frame chart that I liked. It looks like air here on a 5-minute or 3-minute, but believe me, that's the level that I like. So still focused on DRAM. SLV doesn't really give you much of anything. I don't know what's going on with USO. That's crazy.
Yeah, I want to say a big shout out, man. Thank you for all of that, man. We got memberships being dropped right now. We want to thank Gregory Albright right now. Yeah, 10 gifted memberships. So thank you so much. So the Hartzell grabbed it, Rome grabbed it, Gabriel grabbed it, FTG grabbed it. We want to thank every single person for being here with us right now. And hell, let's do a roll call as we sit now $4 damn in the money right now on our boy SpaceX. Another big one there. So yeah, hi everybody. Let's get up a better look if we can. There, Andre. There it is. Thank you, Andre. Yeah. So
can we do the memberships on this?
I don't think the memberships show up on here, but we can. I mean, if Fabian is around, we can try to edit it. But hey, everybody, what's up with big, thick candlestick? I mean, yeah, we like those big ones, especially when they're the other way. If you're long, we like those ones going up there. You are not wrong. Intel is dead. Yo, what's up to Jose? What's up to Daniel T? What's up to FOR26? What's up to Hollis? Henry there? This is going fast. Hangry Wife, Andrew Chow, Tony Zita, what's up? What's up to Lindenmeyer? How are you, my friend? Thanks for the help on that fix. What's up to Snowman over there? What's up to Dave? Green Saber. Alex is here. Pete Nova's here. Pablo's Trading is here as well. Thank you so much, Steven. Two Boots is here. David Clark is here again. Gabby's here. Everybody. Alan, what's up to Gorev?
Gorev.
Oh, another one there. Gorev, yeah, thanks. KHPH is here from TikTok as well. So Michael Baldwin, thank you everybody for being here with
Mike
us.
Baldwin?
And having the Alec Baldwin. Yeah, no, it's something I think it's.
Isn't one of the brothers Mike?
Baldwin there.
Yeah.
No, it's
There's no
Alec.
Mike? I don't know. I just
Steven and Daniel.
insert name, put Baldwin, and I think
don't
there's
think
probably
there's a
one.
Mike.
No, there isn't.
There is no Mike Baldwin.
There should be, but
Mike Baldwin.
I don't know. There's like a million Baldwins.
No, it just sounds so generic when it sounds like that. Right there. Okay, man, there it goes. We're now 420. What? Wait a second. What were we in the money right over there? Yeah. 420 now. $4.20. And you know, again, we did it yesterday with SpaceX. We did it the day before. We're doing it again here now today. So make sure you join us every single day. I mean, this is another monster move here on SpaceX. Look at all these dip buys, man. We did get stopped out right there. And then boom, to the upside. There goes SpaceX right now. Trying to just stay with the right names. And, you know, we can cry over that spilled milk on Intel. But look, it went all the way to 100 and then just fell back in again. So are we going to go long now? Or what about this market, man? We've already broken below this jobs number that we talked about earlier. The jobs number was, of course, was right here. So that was 2970. We did get as high as in the Q 724.50, and then all the way to the downside right now as this market just continues to make new lows here, intraday lows, but not SPCX, baby. This name just continues to climb higher. I'm not here this afternoon. You're going to get a treat. Be with Joe from 2 to 4 p.m. So that should be a really good one for everybody. We'll see how he's going to be trading during the midday. He's going to be coming back here during the afternoon hour as well. So that should be fun for all of you. And I'm just going to wait for the SpaceX to continue to move higher, man. $4 and change in the money on SPCX. But it just keeps on going up, and around. Ozan, please fix the market.
No,
thank you for
sorry, you can't do that.
The market's not really that broken. I mean,
it's not. The market's still green.
I'd
but
fix it if it was.
If you're looking for anything that's actually following the markets, right? Like the chip names, anything correlated to the Qs, you're really just having to take the foot off the gas and just wait for it. I'm actually looking now because we're not getting any trend breaks. Silver, IBIT, DRAM, all the same things I'm trying to watch. But I'm looking at some of the small cappers now just until we can get a dip. Like this is what I'm staring down with DRAM, right? Like it's almost at yesterday's low. Like it's about to tick it in here. So if it loses this, there's still another bottom from a couple of days ago, and there hasn't been much in terms of candles. So I have Hertz up. It's like, is that going to break? I got my scanner seeing anything halting. Sorry about that MB stock. It looked promising. It's obviously dead right now. Locates were a little bit pricey on this one. I'll give it another look. Sometimes it gets cheaper because it's already hit a top. So if I check back in now that it's under VWAP, it might be cheaper, and then we can look at that one for a potential trade. But that's what I'm trying to watch here. Just look for some potential new names so I don't rush into any bottoms. Hood could be interesting. Even that, I don't recall there being a story on that bad boy. So I'm going to stay away on that Robinhood. And then DRAM, silver's still looking pretty solid. It's almost at the 57 that I like, so that we can wait for. Jules, Corsair, I'm not really sure what's going on with Corsair up here. But it's not the best in terms of volume. Volume's like dwindling down here on Corsair, up 32%, and it went right to the high on the dailies and pulled back. So kind of has that fail at the high vibe to it. Want to see it calm down a bit.
Okay. Props. I mean, props up to anybody else that's long right now with SpaceX. I mean, I'm sure there's some of you in the chat that probably have something similar to this trade right here, but there it goes. Now it's 5. Like that just, it was at 123, and then it just levitated up there immediately up to 124.50 right now. So, wow, up 20% from yesterday's lows now is SpaceX, right? That low of 105, an absolute banger there yesterday, if anybody was able to catch something like that. Let's get another offer there out. 75s just took another offer there. We're getting lighter and lighter on this trade. I have now under 15% left on SpaceX as we just let it keep going higher and then, punching out when those levels hit, right? So SpaceX shares extend its move up now 7+% on the day now for SPCX, and it's just like, okay, thank you so much, SpaceX. You've been a nice trade there today. All right, Walmart, a good one. I know, it just flashed on the screen there. Yeah, look at Walmart, man. Walmart now back to flat, was getting hit pretty good there early on today, but as the market battles back here, it's Walmart time. Maybe people are trying to get out of some of these tech names into something maybe a little bit more, conservative. Walmart trying to work itself out again as well. Just a quick look. I know we do have some sector watches and whatnot coming through very soon, but let's just, wow. SpaceX again through 124, man, just keeps on going high. I don't know why I'm amazed by it. It's just like, gave me a little bit of a hard time early and then it didn't. All right, so the financials there today, we haven't looked at them on the screens yet, but JP Morgan slightly down. I mean, these levels are still fine. That 360 was probably a little bit over its skis a bit, but nice move there for them. We've seen Berkshire starting to go up the last little while. I don't see them in there. Neil already covered a little bit of Robinhood. That's BlackRock. Neil covered some Robinhood a little bit, still up 3%. So that's a good story there. Not that we have a story, but it's a nice move there. Is Bitcoin potentially getting stronger, right? There, some of the energy names, we haven't, again, looked too much at oil there today because there's just been so much more. By the way, right now, SpaceX is at 125. So, all right, we'll take another offer out there. FANG, Devon Energy, and whatnot continues its push a little bit higher. But in the tech, there it goes. We just got that fill, by the way. Google down, Microsoft up. So these two are just sort of canceling each other out right now. Meta flat on the day. There's the biggest and the baddest of them all. And I think Palantir definitely with ServiceNow. Some of these software names we looked at Atlassian with that team, that's upside. Datadog, another move. Twilio today. So really no surprise there that Palantir and its friends are going higher, including PanW, AppLovin, and Adobe. So the IGV, I mean, I can't even spit out the words right now. The IVG going higher and higher. And there's 125 now on SpaceX. Like, just to have held all of this would have been something special. But we did not understand the power that SpaceX had today. And now it's up 9%. And we are now $6 in the money there. And it's a daily occurrence here that we have multiple dollar wins on numerous names, but today it's just going to be SpaceX. We hit Google the other day as well. We hit SpaceX yesterday and all throughout the week. So it's just been a really good trade. Yesterday we had SpaceX on a pretty good short. Today we've got it on a long over there. So you're back in the long in DRAM. It looks like things are starting to correct itself.
Well, there was a huge bounce just now on the NASDAQ, but it's already at VWAP, just so you know. We didn't get to the overnight lows, but you did take this pre-market support level and then jump into the volume-weighted average price. I did get DRAM and then the first trade on silver, but we'll always go to the one of concern first. We basically broke this bar, came right back on the 3-minute to the first resistance bar, and then tagged back underneath. So I'm gonna give it to the body, not the low, because this thing has been such a dog. SLV came in, and it's the drop downs. There we go, .am. You can't, it's not on the NASDAQ, you can't hit that. Bottoming tail on silver. So I want to make sure I'm getting some out into the pre-market low, and then support here at 915, and then the volume weighted average price at 58 are the targets. It was about sort of being patient and waiting and finding that spot to jump in. So if it's, what I would say is if it's not bouncing right now and it's been falling, you've got a problem on your hands. That's one way to look at it, because the market looks like it's putting in its first charge of the day. You might wonder if, you were saying Walmart? I would wonder if Walmart's probably gonna dip, because we're actually seeing this comeback in some of the, what's the word I wanna use? The growthier stuff is getting on the rebound. Our AI stuff is trying to go. Everything that was dumping this morning is catching a bit of a bid. Look at all these red candles. Now you got that big green. It's not it wasn't a typical bottom, this one in here. You could have sometimes a little more conviction when the biggest candle of the day is at the low. That didn't actually happen here. It's still a good one, but could have been better. I tried to get some out in front of the 50s. The next out, I think at the $50 level. If I think that $50 was the spot I wanted to try the long first, that was my first support level, I'm not greedy. That's where I want to get out in front, right? I go support to resistance. If I thought it was support on the way down, I'm going to treat it as potential resistance on the way up and jump out in front of 50. Let's go over to Adara for, it's got to be the small cap recap.
Doesn't just have to be, it is. We'll take a look here at HCWC. This is Healthy Choice Wellness. They announced that they've filed a definitive proxy statement and a special meeting of shareholders related to their merger with Host Digital Infrastructure, ZENA. This tech, certainly not a warrior princess today, but trading a little bit higher. As of yesterday morning, they closed their 27th drone as a service acquisition expansion into Idaho. So that's ZENA, a name that is certainly a repeat offender we've talked about before on the show. It's also traded, of course, sharply higher before on the show. CRSR. Corsair Gaming. Now, Neil mentioned this one being strong volume, potentially not the highest here, but I do want to talk about this because we're gapping up. They did have Q2 EPS and sales beat. Q3 guidance kind of tepid going forward. You have a $1.5 billion market cap, a 46 or so million share float, and a 24% short float for our friend CRSR. Back to you.
Thank you, Corsair.
Thanks, Adara. And that Corsair, that's a big time. That's a big mover today. But the volumes were in the pre-market, and we know it's because, well, I shouldn't say we know. It probably was because everyone knew that the number was coming at 830. I shouldn't say it's 100%, but they were all so low. You just didn't know which names were going to explode, because usually that volume indication, everything was so low that nothing really stood out. So good luck if you happen to be on Corsair. In addition to the things that have bounced, obviously I didn't get Bitcoin. We're staring down two things on the dip, and it was DRAM and it was SLV. Probably could have also had IBIT. It goes right into the pre-market low and it's kind of the prior day high. So I don't want to say it's perfect, but yeah, we got the other two. We didn't get this one on IBIT, so we'll have to sit the IBIT bounce out. And it might be better now that I look at it. It's always the one that the dip buy that you're not in probably goes the furthest.
All right, everybody. As by the way, just before we do this, SpaceX is now $6 in the money and going even higher right now. So shout out to people that were able to buy this on some sort of a dip. Yeah, but we already saw some memberships go through, and we want to say a big thank you there in the chat to our good friend Gregory for gifting these memberships. It's only $5 a month, and what you're going to get is a morning research note that I'm going to show you in a couple of seconds. This is what it's all about, man. You're going to get Sharif's morning note, put some work into this. You hear him talking about some of the stats and some of the plays that happen early on. This is an easy read for investors and day traders. You want to make sure that you're looking at the morning note, get your sort of longer term, wow, this space, I can't even, okay, the story, the technicals, the trade plan, it's all for just $5 a month. You also get these fun emojis. We get to identify you guys in the chat as a green member. It's $5 a month. It's here to support the show. And you can see, man, we're putting that money to work. We got Sia, part of the team now. We got one part of the team, and we are ready to rock and roll. And unfortunately, the cost of Joe keeps going up. So we need to get more and more memberships coming through every single day. But this is what this morning note looks like. You know, Meta AI, new coding agent expands monetization. You know, SNDK there. WDC. This is actually yesterday's note. I tried to find today's. I don't know if you sent it to me or not, but USO. So everything's here. The idea is the story, the technicals. Yeah, I think it's the same thing.
Matter.
The trade plan, everything is right here every single day. Everything you need to know about the market is there. We want to thank everybody for continuing their support of Trader TV Live. And without that support, we'd be dark, and then, trades like this, you wouldn't be able to see. And there it goes, SpaceX, straight cash.
We were dark mode yesterday.
Now to the upside there. Were we dark mode yesterday?
Yeah, remember the lights went out?
Oh yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that was
That was
sick.
actually, you guys,
really liked
you
that
guys
dark
might not have liked it, but for us, it's so much better on the.
Ooh, there we go.
Then the lights aren't in your eyes.
I like that one. That was nice,
actually
man. I
quite
like that
nice.
Trader TV Live dark mode right there. So we could definitely do that. But we don't want to like put fear into the viewers. Like, oh my God, something's happened.
Like the power's gone out. Or...
Yeah, so don't worry. You'll hear Sharif have a little panic attack the next time he can't figure things out from that one time there. I'm panicking. Is that what he said? Was that what it was? Yeah.
He said that once because his screen started flickering. This is when I was back on the midday, so we're talking 2024. And at one point he went, I'm panicking for like 2 seconds. And yeah, that was kind of a meme.
That was funny. Okay, so yeah, that was good. But we're not panicking at all over here right now today. It's going to be another green day. Shout out to everybody there as the market turns green today, up another 0.7%. And we just focus today, man. We just focus on two names. We are red on Intel, but we are on SpaceX. And, that's, like I said, man, SpaceX has been a good one. Maybe I just trade one name. Pick one. Okay, you want to look at, there's what's up to Ethan there, or sorry, Athelistan there. Tesla dip buy, we can talk about that, yeah. Nebius or CoreWeave, pick one. I like Nebius. I think their deals with Microsoft are pretty solid there. Nebius, I don't know if it's first to market. I haven't looked at the history. But they both report next week. Thanks to Dara for that one.
Short?
Wasn't
Burry? Somebody bet against
Nebius. No,
someone bet against Nebius like this week.
Yeah,
right?
it is Michael Burry, I believe. It is for sure. I just wasn't sure.
Around 211s is his short price.
Right, good.
Someone short is a kind of.
But was he
catalyst.
also involved in CoreWeave or no? I don't.
Oh, he might be. He might be both.
This SpaceX, he might be both. So I would choose Nebius. I mean, I don't know if this stock is getting hit, because of the pressures on the short. We've seen the pressures on Palantir, and that stock has rebounded obviously swimmingly as well. But it did get hit all the way down to 110 or so on Palantir. Now today we're talking 166 again. So let Nebius fall back in, man. Bring this name back into 160s, man. Make Nebius great again down there in and around this 160 level, and then we can get a bump higher. I don't know if I generally love the whole like Neo Cloud situation, because like I said, I think there is this glut that's going to be happening very, very soon, and I don't know if the custies will come back or not to some of these places. But for right now, CoreWeave actually has a chart, has been bouncing and still is up here. So again, I think that part of the pressure has to be on your boy Michael Burry. So if that's being applied to Nebius, then I like Nebius a little bit better, because I think you can get better pricing, right? The stock on discount when these kind of guys are in there playing around with it. But I don't know if anybody's thinking about shorting SpaceX. I do not think that would be a good idea. As there it is right now. Back
I don't like
up.
the debt on CoreWeave.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they're taking in every company. We just saw again SK Hynix dropping another 40 billion today, right? So it's just like all this debt and all this capital expenditure just keeps on happening. And look, hopefully, it's blue skies ahead, not green skies, blue skies ahead for the AI space. And if not, then yeah, there are a couple companies that are in trouble. And we looked at Oracle and how much they got hit based on that. And there goes right now SpaceX. I mean, the one thing that we do know that not just blue skies, but what about blue atmosphere That wouldn't be blue. But there it goes, upside. Wow. Now we're now $8 right now in the money. So yeah, that is a banger right there. New pop to the new highs right now of SpaceX. We've got it right now as it's going long time bids for SpaceX up to 126.50 right now, up 10%. SpaceX continuing to moon right now. Go SpaceX, go. And Intel also, not too bad that we had to drop this one, but Intel now up to 150 cents. So that would be a good one there as well. But yeah, wow, this SpaceX now $8 now in the money on this one. So far so good, but the DRAM must be working.
Well, I'm locking in to stay green on these now. You had to be so patient because it was so nasty. I will go to Tesla. You guys first. Big green stick, that's been up for a while. That's my bad because I saw it there and was like, what the heck? And now we're looking at it. That is complete V-shaped recovery on Tesla. The market's bouncing, so we'll just chalk it up to that. I'm not going to say it's anything technical on Tesla's part, but remember, this was the high from Wednesday, 329 change. So there's like complete breakout potential here on Tesla. The market is also, the NASDAQ does have the lower high from earlier. There's some levels that we have to get into that we have to respect. So this looks really good because this is the rounded bottom. I wanted to zoom all the way out so you can see. This is the rounded bottom on Tesla into a potential break. So that actually has a little bit of room extra to go. So I'll end up, so here's my reversal in DRAM. The levels that I played long where it's going to reverse, those were places I want to take profit. When it rejected just here at 49.65 and does this reversal, like, okay, let's just trail it out. It'll end up being 1 for 3 on the dip buy. But remember, I broke my own rule taking the second dip buy. So that was a mistake. And you have to own up to it. It should never have been in this entry. It wasn't a green candle. The 50 was because of 50 and it was a tight stop, but that's a sloppy entry. And this time we waited for the green candle and breakout. And that's what you got to do. It's just about execution sometimes. SLV, I'm still looking for the volume weighted average price. That's not really at VWAP. I'll cancel it. But if this breaks, we're going to end up losing the pre-market low. So we found our dip zone, but that pre-market low, support, resistance now. So if we consolidate here and lose it, oh, wait a minute. I guess it broke it by 1 cent. It's kind of close, but we'll just lock in what we can get. So you try to ride it as far as it will go. And then if it resumes a downward trend, that's it. Don't want to fight it. To be able to catch the dips, we'll take what we can get and we will not be upset there. But the one that got away, which I have to acknowledge, is IBIT. It's the one that you don't get. IBIT's it was the first long that we're in. This is the one that I didn't grab. That's the one that extended all the way into the volume weighted average price. So, sometimes you can only punch into so many things at once. But at the end of the day, I looked at DRAM and said to myself, if it reverts, which one has the best potential? And it was DRAM. So 10 times out of 10, when this one has a way better risk reward, I'm going to go for it. I don't care that it's resulting to say that I should have been an IBIT. You always look at the opportunity. And the way memory was going down, that's what I wanted to grab.
Okay. I'm trying to buy some more Crocs. I want to buy some Crocs. I like these Crocs.
The problem is they last too long.
Yeah, I like actually like these.
You don't
need a little different.
They last for like a decade.
These are new ones there.
Why
Yeah, I haven't had. Yeah, that's the problem. I haven't had a new pair of Crocs in forever. So I was just looking at them anyways. Doesn't matter. Not looking.
I love Crocs.
Trying to spend all the money I made on Crocs. But yeah, there it goes. So now we're trying to see what SpaceX is doing. We may be in tune for a retracement now. That 11% is a nice. I'm gonna take one more offer here at 20s. I'm out of here today. Just I'll be here a little bit. I'll stay with the midday, probably till about noon or so, and then I got a jam. But yeah, SpaceX right now 1050s up 10.5% right now, breaking back now a little lower. I mean, we could put the stop right there. The thing is that give your boy a follow right now. We put this out on Twitter a while ago. I think it was when we were first dealing with it. This is going to be a little while ago. SpaceX was just at 123, and we were sort of talking about where we thought this name could go. But 128, I mean, that's a little bit higher than even I had thought about, and I'm a pretty big SpaceX bull. When it gets going, we also hit the short. I mean, yesterday's big trade for me, of course, was the SpaceX short, and this is the difference about what you have to be as a day trader versus what you are as an investor, right? I mean, this is me shorting SpaceX you know, there's a nice move off of 110. Actually, I didn't even put that out yesterday, the trade that we had. We had oh yeah, here, this was another trade the other day. There's 118, that same level that we were looking at here today. That was downside. So there's another $7 winner a couple days ago there on SpaceX. And I actually didn't even post about it yesterday. And yesterday was my best day on SpaceX. Man, what was I doing? Wake up, Sean. You got to get involved with Twitter. But yeah, there goes the downside. So what a difference a couple days make. And yesterday we didn't have it on there, but that was a nice blowout for SpaceX yesterday, and upside there today quite clearly on SPCX. So I'll put that in the chat, and if you guys can go give a follow, that would be awesome. There on my Instagram as well is popping a little bit off there. So go have a look and, you know, support the channel by not only trying to get those memberships in there, give us all a follow on all of the social media platforms. Oh yeah, here's a little bit of a picture from yesterday. This is me and my 2 youngins there at the game yesterday, and it was a good one. You know, he's got sporting the Raptors hat. This is mini me right there in the middle. That's Baxter. It's my AI guy.
You pick up any gear?
He's all the way up. No, we didn't pick up any gear. I don't know. We did. I don't know why we didn't. I think we are planning on going back to another game. It was a heck of a lot of fun.
Argo's gear is actually kind of sweet.
Yeah, CFL games are really fun, man. Really, really fun.
I know Americans, you're going to be like,
shout
CFL, who
out to,
cares? It's a very exciting game if you like football. If you're a football fan, the CFL rules are very entertaining.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So yeah, go there. I put my Instagram there in the chat. If you guys want to give it a follow, that's great. And if not, that's cool too. But that's what I've been doing here while enjoying, you know, life trading, enjoying the show. And I know that everybody around here, you know, make sure you do something fun every once in a while, because otherwise you get caught in this rat race, you know, of the stock market.
That is definitely what it is. And oh goodness, there it is, another one. Bovin, I see you.
Oh,
what are
no,
we
not
calling
Bovin,
you this
not
time?
Bovin.
Well, I'm not the one that says it
OG,
a million times.
the
It's the OG Bovin. Talking about, well, it would be better if it was YG, but it's YJ. And this is what in the heck? Okay, so right off the bat, this is probably going to halt 15 times today, because whatever YJ is, and it's probably a Chinese ADR. I don't think I'm going on a limb when I say that YG is a Chinese ADR. It's halted at 399, 2.5 in volume, but look at how little the action this has had. One good volume spike, and that's about it. So what are we dealing with here? We are dealing with a Chinese American depository shares, Yunji, and it is a float of 13 million. That's actually not that bad. So these have all ended poorly. That's all I will say.
Okay.
They've all ended poorly. You guys know the story. But congratulations if you happen to be in it. But every single one of these the last couple of days has burned people if you hold on too long. Mopar, can you get a 5% day on the IGV?
What? Is it that high?
Ask Palantir and
Yes,
Microsoft, because that's where the strength is going to lie. 3.5%. So it's pretty simple. Microsoft, does it look like it can go? It's already starting to stall out at the highs. If Microsoft doesn't break the highs, that makes it pretty easy. The answer ends up being a no. You are getting a great move in Palantir, obviously. So Palantir has gone through. It's 9% now. It's breaking highs, and it's continuing. So, I mean, Palantir is doing its job. If Microsoft can get to 510, breaks that 05 area, then you've got a better chance. But it's basically how those two are going to go. It's going to determine. I'm just looking back. Man, DRAM doesn't want to. It's not it today on DRAM. Like that, it looks like that was the best we could get. It's still putting in a higher low for now. So as long as 49 holds, just a reminder, it did eventually just close the entirety of the gap. So there's a solid chance at a double bottom, but it is such a dog and so incredibly weak. I'd much rather go back over to what looks maybe a little bit better. See, the difference with silver and gold is they might be dipping, but they gapped up. So they could still pull back into some prior highs, or have filled the gap to the 57 level I liked, and then started going back into an uptrend. Looks better than DRAM, because this is actually in an uptrend that it pulled back into, as opposed to falling deep into support. Shout out to, Aodell Smith Jackson.
Yo.
You guys, Apple run, not sure what happened. I'm going to guess Apple probably was going strong as the market was tanking, and then when we got that big bounce, it reversed. So a guess, because that's what Apple's been doing lately. No, it's going up with the market this time. Ooh,
that's a strange one.
Now that could be pretty. That could be good for Apple. I like that for Apple. It actually extended its gains when the rest of like the AI stuff found its bottom and the chip names found their bottom. Apple extended gains. That's not what's been happening lately. Lately, it's been counter trend to the AI play. So this is a great sign for Apple. It's bouncing off the 50 period as well. Yeah, I like this. I like it a lot.
50. Right there. Yeah, no, that was one. I mean, we didn't dip buy any Apple. We were already, the barrel of apples was full in my account, and so we did not get any of that, but we did dip buy some Google, which we have not looked at really today. It's not having a good day at all, actually, Google right there. Was not expecting to see a 355 handle. Their lows of the day on Google. Wilson Katina Capital. There you go, Joe. Does that make you feel better? Wilson Katina Capital. We had to change it, man. It's not Katina Wilson anymore. It's Wilson Katina. We had some some back and forth about that in our meeting there. And so yeah, we're looking to buy more Google. To be honest with you, I think this is going to be a good long-term play for Google. As I said, and it's probably Meta's probably rocking today. Today I called Meta my least favorite, and of course it's up 1%, and Google probably my most favorite. I think Apple still is, but Meta today getting some backside movement there, so that's a good one. And we got a super chat earlier that someone had caught this Meta move, and that was a great one. Meta all the way from 585 to 595, almost $10 straight fire in the booth upside right there on Meta. So good job there. We did get out a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna take on one more piece here and save the rest for a rainy day. We're almost out now of SpaceX. Look, man, we're trying to follow rules. It comes back in, looks like it's trying to break the 25-period moving average. The only thing that I could change up with my trading to maybe get, to take it to the next level again, would be instead of maybe getting out right there, that could be a reload spot at the 25-period moving average, because this is what we took advantage of here at 120. And we always like the key level breaks, right? No matter what stock it's on, to be honest with you. If it has news, if it has momentum, if it has social media, anything like that, key level breaks, whether or not it be $2 on these small caps or, whatever the levels happen to be at, it's the key level breaks that, I think interests, myself and everybody around here.
Well, that thing's a SPAC.
I was trying to find out. You already talked about this one, the YG. MB, Neil looked at earlier as well, and that's now here through $12, and it's kind of halting around. And okay, so see, this would be now, if this halts upside now, based on what I did yesterday, and yesterday was just yesterday, but I was thinking that this kind of a break right now on this name, if we halt higher, might be a good long, because we're back at support. We haven't really broken too much below this 12. We got to 1140, but a halt up right here might give a little bit better feels to a next leg. So we'll see if this does halt. The limit up, limit down bands. I thought I marked them, but I got to do a better job of that. And there it goes. So all we have to do is talk about this thing. And now the rip is happening right now in MB, trying to get back up to the upside.
That's too liquid to see the bands.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, look at it. It's you're only seeing 20 cents worth of depth.
But what did I? Yeah, see, I already.
Oh, it didn't save.
No, yeah, it didn't save. So I used to have limit up, limit down mentioned on here, and of course, right now I do not.
What's that?
So this is MB. So there it is, Joel Embiid.
It's at 1335.
Okay, so here it goes. So it will halt. So I got to get over here. MB.
1335.
MB right now. What is it on the Nasdaq? Okay. We're going to check this out on a possible halt right now on MB, guys. All right, sector watch with Adara. What's going on over there?
Let's look at this sector board, guys, because there is a lot of strength here. For the most part, there's also some weakness. We'll start with what's weak, I guess. Energy minerals here to the downside. Oil just kind of out of focus today. You've got XOM down about 1.5%. Producer manufacturing mixed, but you do have downside moves in the likes of GEV and Caterpillar. Industrial services kind of weak here. Communications kind of weak, but in terms of strength, it's a lot easier to talk about because there's just a lot more of it. You've got consumer durables to the upside, health services to the upside, non-energy minerals to the upside with or Newmont, a gold play. They're up 7% today. You have health tech strong, tech services with the exception of Google really strong. We have to shout out Adobe up 4% and Palantir up nearly 9% today. Finance, as already mentioned here, there is some strength with the likes of this team here, I believe BlackRock up 3.5%, and electronic technology, last but not least, the most mixed sector that I'm seeing here. You've got sharp downside moves in the likes of Micron, SanDisk, Seagate, and Western Digital. Now, two of these names, SanDisk and WDC, are actually an earnings day too. The other potential reason to keep an eye on these, as we know, Bloomberg reported right after the bell that SK Hynix, another name in the memory space, is considering, I guess, changing up its arrangement here with its $3 billion plant in China. That being said, you also have strength in the likes of ADI, Corning, Qualcomm, Apple, NVIDIA, and Broadcom. So mixed look for electronic tech, but generally strong look for the rest of the market. Back to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Adara. So MB did halt at that 1335. The fourth time was a charm. There were some fills on the bid, so you certainly could have gotten long if you were really, really fast if you got on the bid. But remember, when it gets to the halt band, you can't punch in. You can only sit on the bid and hope that somebody sells to you. Like you can't just be like, I want the long. You're not going to get it. We have 2 super chats to get to, and this one's been around here for a while, but thank you very much. Argentinian pesos from Gabby. Greetings, my dear traders. MSTR, IBIT, Coin, Circle, Crypto Space ripping. Tonight is sushi for dinner. It's not a bad idea. I like sushi.
Yeah, my
Haven't
kids
had
had that
sushi
last
in a
night,
while. The last time Aaron asked for sushi, for some reason, my wife was like, she wasn't feeling it, so we didn't. But I liked IBIT early, and this was one of the 3 dip buys that we didn't get, and obviously it went to VWAP. But here's the thing: you're still a chance to hold the breakout and retake the high. So I like the reversal on it. I feel it's a bit of a chase. We're going to lose VWAP here, so this feels like an obvious jinx, because I was looking for it to hold the bid, grab the long into the 37 break, and then ride it. But if it loses VWAP, you're waiting for the double bottom. So this is in play for me here today, and we didn't really look at Coinbase. I don't love Coinbase, and obviously that means Coinbase is going to be super strong today. It's up 6% and absolutely flying here. And keep an eye on ETH. ETH has been fantastic, actually been better than Bitcoin recently. Tisha Perkins, Vate. That must be a small capper, because that's what you do. Can you go over this ticker? Shorts have been holding it down. It's easy to borrow, could squeeze later. Is it easy to borrow? I can answer that question. Not for us, it's not.
Not.
So it's actually, we have to pay for locates on this one, so it's not completely easy to borrow. The way I see it, in real trading, if we don't have shorts, it ain't easy to borrow, because we have 99 point whatever percent of the market. But it's now above VWAP and trending higher. When these gappers do not break the low, sometimes you don't want to give up on them. That's an important thing. So good one with volume. I'm going to see what locates are, if they're cheap enough, because it could be a play, because I did pay for YJ locates. If this one starts to die, after what Booyah did yesterday, that's how I try to remember the name. So this was the one yesterday, BYHA on the NASDAQ. Booyah. I think I got it right. Oh, this chart's gonna die on me. I think it was this, yeah, it was this one. See that rejection, and then look what it did under VWAP. It consolidated. I didn't go short till $4, but you could have been shorting this at $4.50, and it dropped to $3. That's a 33% move, and it was straight down and never went against you. So if another one of these Chinese ones does it, then you want to be prepared for it, because I feel like once they start to die, they just completely give it up. So Yunji, or whatever the heck it is the one that I have the eyeballs on, but it just did the down halt now. So if I see it close under VWAP, I want to look short.
All right, just another little quick trade idea. So that MB is halt. I mean, we could call it up again, but it's halted there, and it's only tapping 1338. So right now, not much kicking out for Joel's stock over there. Okay, so we'll wait here. If this does fall back into, that's what I was going to say is here, a fall back into 98. Let's give a little bit of love for some Intel. On a drop back into $98, right? We'll take a 98.20 fill. That was that sort of rate where we just wicked down to, and then watch out for a break of 98 potentially. Oh, there it is. MB just opened up. Damn it! Both Neil and I tried. I know. I heard you talking about it. Yeah, we tried to get and again, bang. You know, we said the next halt. If it halts, I like that halt, and it halted at 1335. So, oh boy, man, what a dangerous trader potentially. We could become if we start trading some of these small cap names and get it right. I don't have a problem putting up some shares into these names right there, and there's the halt. So we did get involved. So and I'm not going to take this one because for me that's not the idea. But right into there, we said that 1335 halt was going to be potentially something. So it did halt right there, and then gapped a little bit higher, and now it's 1535. Now it's $16 right now on the tap. All right, man. I mean, there's going to be missed opportunities sometimes, and that looks like that's going to be one right there. But wow, I'm starting to get good feels about all of this, and that's always a good thing. So hopefully, we can start to hit these. I mean, yesterday was good, man. Yesterday, I just traded at one time, and it was one of the top stocks for me there. That Wing Yip Holdings, and now today, honestly, if we just traded that one, that could have been P&L number one, and that was off of one move. Just because the moves are happening, it's not like, again, if it's going to halt down and you have 100 shares and it halts down $2, sure, you're going to lose $200, right? But it's in these moves that happen every once in a while where you get long and then it just continues the play higher. So, if you exit out with good responsibility and check yourself before you wreck yourself, then I feel like some of these small cap names would be part of the game that a lot of us, will start to enter.
There's also one thing, everyone's going to do their own thing.
Yeah.
But if I jump on, and this is exactly what I do on MB, if you get that fill on that first halt, like I'm sitting there 1335 bid, I already have a stop.
Oh yeah.
Like and you know where my stop is? Once my bid is in, it was the 1335, let's call it. My bid is my stop is at 1334. So when it's at the halt band, if the stock doesn't halt and I'm filled, I'm out instantly. Because I only want to be in if it succeeds in halting in that 15 seconds. So that's why you might get a couple of false halts and get like triggered out 5-10 cents and then triggered out 5-10 cents, and then the time it halts you're holding. But my stop is right there, because what I don't want is it hits the halt band, doesn't halt, and then blows through the low and you lose $2. Because to me the idea is to try to risk a small amount on the actual entry, and then your downside risk is only that it halts down. Like that's the only risk I want. That after the halt up, is that it gaps down on you. By the way, the market is still making a bid. Come on, Bitcoin, you can do this. The Nasdaq's jinx. The Nasdaq had just pulled back into VWAP and starting to head back lower because it's IBIT. Remember, I was looking for IBIT to hold VWAP, break higher. It just doesn't want to do it. Like you had to sort of pick your spots. Even SLV, like that one bounce and it didn't go any further and we're headed lower. I bet you DRAM is probably the same thing. You had the one bounce. Now it's trying to at least double bottom, but you couldn't get any better than that turn. And again, it's just been a really down market for some of these, but the Nasdaq's giving it a shot. I do want IBIT next because I feel it's the strongest of the three things that we're going long today. Let's go to Adara and see how the US dollar is doing.
Yeah, USD.
Take a look at the DXY. Oh.
She's the one hitting all these now.
DXY, because we can. We're going to take a look at the US dollar, which has been really range bound over the last 5 days. This is literally Monday's action here. High of around 100, low of around 94.50. Would you be shocked if I told you this is going to be, 99.45? Yeah, this range here is identical. We've had literally the same range all day. In fact, Monday and Friday's range, basically exactly the same. There's not too much to talk about when it comes to dollar price action or levels. The levels, I think, are quite large. And if I go to the weekly chart, you'll really see how range bound we've been. It'd be interesting to see if we kind of close as a doji candle here, just exactly flat here on the week for the DXY. But let's talk here about the employment data, because I think this is by far the biggest story of the day, at least going into the session, regardless of all these other earnings in focus. Non-farm payrolls, negative 23,000 versus 80,000 expected in the prior print of 57,000. Unemployment rate below estimates, 4.1% versus 4.2% expected. Now, this is interesting. This infographic, which covers NFP change over the last 36 months, so August 23 all the way to July 26, this is our 5th negative print in those 36 months. So we don't get these negative prints a lot. This one, of course, not as significant as some of the negative prints we've seen, for example, in October 25, but still interesting look here for NFP, and it has impacted the odds of a rate hike in September. Prior to this number, we were seeing roughly 60% chance of a rate hike, 40% chance of a hold. That's flipped. Now, 60% chance of a hold, 40% chance of a hike in September of 2026. Now, this has actually changed since the last time we looked at it. I want to say a little bit after 9 a.m. We're still seeing the chance of an October hike, but now we're seeing the chance we could get another hike in June of 2027 before maybe going back down and then getting potentially a third hike in December of 2027. So almost definitely, at least as of right now, we're expecting there could be a hike in October of 26. The hikes beyond that seem a little bit up in the air, but I'm sure we'll get more clarity as we get more data, including CPI and PPI next week. Back to you.
We talked about that flip up there in the rate expectation, so that's kind of nice to see for sure. Thank you so much, Ja P. I don't have time to do this, but you guys all watching, of course. It does look like it's another 10-bagger, so we get that money right there as it just continues to drop back in for SpaceX, and Shreve just sits back down. We're long at 119, SpaceX right now 128, but yeah, just absolutely motoring right now, and yeah, another 10-bagger right there. So we want to say thank you so much to all of that. Try to leave the runners on, man, as we go. And then as Neil was talking, it's too bad that yesterday, I was just looking and I didn't actually have, this is yesterday's early, we got this at 8:54, but I was trying to look for this wing yip one. So this is exactly the way to trade, exact same thing that Neil was talking about and what we did yesterday. This went up to $20 and then it fell back in, and my stop on the last 10% was exactly where we were in. So it's like, take advantage of the move higher, but make sure that you do have that vaunted stop in there. And by the way, MB does, see, and again, like we're starting to get the feels again. Like this was not this was not a halt up that I wanted to take. You know, I didn't sit there and took that one. We wanted this one, but not the next halt up. So yeah, man, Spidey sense is going off right now on small caps, which is very, very good. You know, if we can start trading mega caps the way we're doing that, and then now add small caps into the race, then it's all about that, man. Yeah, man, Shreve, we tried. We were on this bid to get this, and then it ripped higher. We missed it. So, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Like I said, it's all right. We're starting to get warmed up to the fact that these are all about it. And, you know, with the change of the PDT rule, all that kind of stuff
There's
now.
more of these now.
There's just more of these now. So be careful with, you know, stocks like this that have high short floats or low floats, high short floats, or just low floats.
And remember, low float, no story. There's a really decent chance somebody is literally pumping it.
Yeah, well, that's...
I'm not to be conspiracy theory, but there's like 90% of the ones we're talking about have,
well, they're
all Chinese ADRs. I mean, I think we all have a decent sense of what's going on here, which is why you have to have some kind of an exit strategy to ensure that you take profits. It gets much better to take 20 or 30% and 50% than instead of hoping for 500% and then you hold it for a day and then you make literally nothing. I'm staring down YJ, but this is now, it's 20 minutes? So it's been halted over 20 minutes. And what's crazy about this, it down halted. Like, oh, sorry, it was down on a pullback and then back up to 398. So it was like a potential rug job that came right back up instantly to the 98 level. Its tap is $5. When there's a long halt, if it's not 5 or 10 minutes, that typically means there's a genuine lack of liquidity and it'll be a crazy open. So I believe that it could open another dollar higher on YJ. But that's just the latest, another one of these ridiculous ones. We're going to go back up to Adara. Looks like Bitcoin doesn't want to hold on to VWAP, so I don't have to be in it if it's not going to give it to me. And then the other one we're looking for is maybe a reload in silver. It either breaks this downtrend, double bottoms, but I got to be pretty patient with it because you saw the slide down and everything. You had to really wait for your chance. 1055. What's a 1055? We already did sector watch. Maybe it's just a new story.
I think we're just going back to Adara.
We're just going to Adara with news.
Yeah. Keep an eye here on CoreWeave, guys. So I'm just seeing this now, but it looks like about 40 minutes ago or so. So basically when CoreWeave started bouncing, we got a post here on LinkedIn from the company's official account. There's a whole video. There's not too much happening in the video, but it says details coming on August 13th. Stay tuned. So it's going to be a couple days after their earnings report. That would be on Thursday. The company's set to report earnings, I believe, after the bell on Tuesday. So we're going to have to wait and see what this announcement is, but it does not appear to be earnings related on its face. Either way, we did get roughly a $3 or so bounce from that low all the way up to 88.50. If I get any more details, I'll keep you posted. But either way, sounds like we'll all know more next Thursday. Back to you.
Thank you, Adair. We got a couple of super chats. I think at least 2 of them, because one of them for sure I know we didn't get to. We'll see. It's from Fillmore, yes. We didn't see the Tesla one. I know we talked about Tesla. Would you buy Tesla at $330? Time frame matters. As a day trader at 11 o'clock, I'm not a huge fan of breakout trades at this time of day. I feel like if you get a breakout trade early, you have twice as long in the day for it to rally. You have all the opening liquidity for it to go. In the middle of the day, like it feels like it could be a little bit more trappish. Volumes are going to be automatically lower, and breakouts want volume. So there's a lot that works against it. If you're thinking about, oh, I just think it bottomed at 300, and I like this for like an actual like swing, and you have the moving averages, that would be a different story. That does look pretty solid. And throw in something that Kevin was saying, which I've been thinking about, and I haven't decided yet. If they're just going to merge them, and the idea is that you're going to get, the merger would be SpaceX buying Tesla, because that's what all the talk is. And Tesla shareholders might get a small premium, even if it's going to be, I just looked over in YJ, forget about $4. It's about to halt at 6 to the upside. So it just went $3.98. It's $6 now. No, if you're going to be able to get SpaceX and Tesla shareholders get a bit of a premium on their value, and you think it could happen next year, then simply buying Tesla, especially if you already like Tesla, becomes pretty appealing. And I haven't thought whether I want to just next time buy Tesla shares over us tranching SpaceX, but I am leaning to at least do a little bit of that. So I do like this bottom. I was waiting for 280 because I thought that was the spot. The same way I waited for 222 a couple of years ago, or like a year. Yeah, it was actually a year ago. I was waiting for $280, and it looks like that's not going to happen on Tesla. But it's a good, strong one, and I guess I might have jinxed UNG. It did get to 6, but now it's back to 5. Opened at 4, went to 6, back to 5. This will probably halt another dozen times today. And the second it holds under VWAP, that's what I'm looking for, because I'm not chasing these halts. You either get the first halt off the lows or not a chase, because then I don't know how you structure the trade if you chase it. That's a problem.
We're only 1 minute now until 11 a.m. and we'll switch over into the midday show. But we want to say a big shout out to everybody that was with us here today on TikTok, on YouTube, everywhere, Twitch, wherever you're watching us. Thank you so much, and thank you for the continued support. I'm going to be getting out of this last piece on SpaceX on a break of 125, okay? So that's the trade that I'm looking at right now as we get ready to pass it over. And then Intel right now as well, a bid down at 98. If that can happen, then we will take a bid on Intel down by $98. So yeah, man, excited to be here with you, but that's enough for me. I'll be gone. Joe will be taking over for me at 2 p.m. So join Joe and Neil then. Big shout out to Adara in the background there. Thank you for all her help today. Thanks to Sharif, got that morning. No, we got some memberships that people dropped as well. Yes. Thank you to all the super chats that came through. Michael Noss as well. Tiffany, Andre over there.
Pure Ecstasy as well. Shout out to you. I think we missed your super chats.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any super chats we missed, these guys will cover it on the midday show. All right, man. It's 11 o'clock. Let's see what's for lunch. I mean,
as long as it's.
Hopefully it's sandwiches. Hopefully it's sandwiches.
So why don't you tell us what it is so we can tell them. Tell us. Yeah. So what is it?
You gotta get her mic going. Do you have your mic on?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, go.
I do. They have.
Yeah, you're on.
Okay. They have it's cold noodles, and there's sesame honey breaded chicken. I'm very excited to try that because it looks so good.
Okay.
It looks very good. And there's also a very good salad with it, which I didn't really check.
We haven't done this in a minute, but there it is. There it is. That's what's for lunch right there. So thank you for seeing there. Breaded sesame chicken with cold noodles. So that should be okay. We'll see how that goes.
No, Joe's like, I can hear Joe opening plastic. So he's got like a treat. Anything you open with plastic, I'm thinking he's got a chocolate bar over there, and I'm just kind of curious what he's eating.
He's sorting out all those ones, I think. All right. Midday show is upon you. We'll see you guys back at 2 p.m. Have a great weekend.
Peace.